just a short while ago, the man of the hour, Big Mac, arrived before a sellout crowd here at Busch Stadium. Yes, the old song once said, "Meet me in St. Louis, Louis." And that's indeed what 48,000 fans are doing here at Busch Stadium, and about 800 accredited members of the international media, hopeful of seeing history today at Busch Memorial Stadium in St. Louis, as Mark McGwire, sitting on 59 home runs, leads his St. Louis Cardinals into battle against Jack McKeon's Cincinnati Reds. But there is another man who is chasing Mark McGwire. It's Sammy Sosa. Two men are in this home run chase. And last night, Big Sammy in Pittsburgh, first inning against Jason Schmidt, hits a 2-0 pitch into the right field seats for homer number 57 on the year, just two behind Big Mac. Cubs beat the Pirates by a score of 5-2, and oh, baby, what a September we're going to have for you here on Fox as Sosa and McGwire chase immortality down the stretch. Hello again, everybody. Along with Steve Lyons, I'm Chip Carey. It is our great pleasure to be at Busch Memorial Stadium in St. Louis as Mark McGwire chasing Roger Maris. An incredible home run chase continues today on Fox Saturday Baseball.
Well, you know, it's got to be a huge game if they let us out of the studio and show up at the game. You know, I had my glove Federal Express to me because I'm going to be hanging out in the left field bleachers talking to people during this game. I might have a chance to catch one. I'll tell you what, this team is 21 games out of first place. There's going to be 48,000 people here for a slice of history if this record goes down today.
Now, some of you will be seeing the Mets and the Dodgers playing a little bit later on. Don't forget, those of you watching that ball game, we will show you each and every one of Mark McGwire's at-bats, so you won't miss your chance at seeing history in today's ball game. But, Steve, this is going to be a tough matchup for McGwire. He hasn't homered against the Cincinnati Reds, but despite that, it's still been an unbelievable week for him.
Well, we had a chance to catch up with Jack McKeon, the manager of the Cincinnati Reds, and he said he will pitch to him, but the week for both of these guys, once they both got to 55 home runs, then McGwire went nuts. For both Sammy and Big Mac, it was an incredible week of baseball.
I know the difference between a strike and a ball, and I'll tip my hat to the pitcher if it's a strike and it's nasty. What's ball for?
Calm down, Mark. Calm down. No way. Who's been wrong?
Did I cross the line? Yeah, I probably crossed the line, and I owe up to it.
Easy like Sunday morning.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Swung on, booked it. There she goes. How far will that one fly? Off the scoreboard. Oh, baby, what a bomb.
With this being Coors Field, are you disappointed that you aren't able to get out of here with a few more than you did, or?
Buddy, I'm lucky that I got 2. What you talking about?
That's the best ball I've ever seen him hit.
Here's a 1-0. A high fly ball in center. There goes number 55. The magic number is 7.
He always says I'm the man, you know. But he's the man too, you know. He's right there.
Monday, Monday.
Here comes the 0-1, and Sosa drives one to left field. That's back near the wall. Gone! Number 55 for Sammy Sosa.
So this is what it's all about, Sammy. You've done this because of Flintstones?
Yes, this is the vitamin that I use. He won today. He's probably going to hit 2 tonight.
Mark McGwire sitting on 58 home runs.
He did it again! He did it again! That's his 59th home run!
You know, say time and time again, it's just I wish every player can feel what I'm feeling.
But if these two guys chasing this home run record have absolutely captivated a nation. Quick story about Sammy Sosa. When his 56th home run was hit, the one that tied Hack Wilson's Cub record, there was a woman in the stands with a sign that said, "Sammy, hit it here." She caught the ball. She was escorted back to talk to Sammy Sosa. She wanted to give him the ball back. He said, "You brought the ball back to me. I'll sign it and give it back to you." That was a classy move. And I'll tell you what, you've had a chance to follow Sammy all year long. What's that been like?
Oh, it's one of the greatest jobs in the world, Steve, and the reason why I think the smile of Sammy Sosa, it's one that lights up a room. He's got a bat that lights up a scoreboard. And you know, in this game, one of the oldest sayings is you got to have a lot of little boy in you to play this ball game. And the unabashed joy and enthusiasm that Sammy Sosa plays this game, I think, is far more important than any number of home runs or RBIs that he puts up on the year. This is a man you can't forget. Once shined shoes and sold oranges just to survive in the Dominican Republic, and a man who says America's the greatest country in the world. He has his priorities certainly well in line. That's what I'm going to remember. And Joe Buck, I know you follow Mark McGwire. It's got to be awesome as well.
Well, Chip Carey, you're right. It has truly been a pleasure getting a chance to know Mark McGwire as a person and getting a chance to track him throughout 1998. To me, he's the right man for the right record at the right time in the game of baseball. Baseball needs Mark McGwire. Baseball needs this home run chase. Baseball needs a new home run king to have an accessible hero. He's like a giant Huckleberry Finn, as somebody that walked right out of a Norman Rockwell painting. The home run record has held this country captive for the better part of the 20th century. And now we are all captive, held hostage, waiting for home run number 62. But to me, the best part about Mark McGwire, he's genuine. What you see is what you get. In a day and age in where you have to look at some of your heroes with one eye closed for fear of looking too closely to reveal a flaw, you don't have to worry about that with Mark McGwire. He's a devoted father. He donates a ton of money and a lot of time to charity, and he is able to do things to a baseball that nobody has ever been able to do to a baseball in the history of this game. He's a modest man. He has respect for his predecessors. He has respect for his opponent, which today is the Cincinnati Reds. He truly has made the great American pastime the great American present time. So sit back, relax, or don't relax. Stand up. Enjoy watching today's game as we all hope to catch a glimpse of history. Let's go back down to the field. Chip Carey and Steve Lyons.
Okay, Joe, thank you very much. This is the kind of race everybody likes because no matter what happens, there are no losers in this one. Well, of course, the man that both Sosa and McGwire are chasing is the late Roger Maris. How would Roger react to all this hoopla as those two men hunt down 61 home runs in one single season? Well, we asked some of Roger's former teammates what his impressions would be were he with us today.
Records are made to be broken. He went after Babe Ruth's record and broke it, okay? Now, I think Roger's was kind of the guy that would say, all right, break it if you can.
Oh, no way. Roger, I know, wants to keep it, and Mickey, as close as he was with Roger, I'm sure he'd say the same thing.
That's right. He appreciated it later on. And now, I would say if he was alive today, he'd like to have that record broken.
So before we say goodbye and send it upstairs, Steve, let's get our final thoughts on today's game. Again, McGwire has not homered against the Cincinnati Reds. He's facing Reyes, the former Dodger. What does Big Mac have to do, and will he do it today?
I think he just has to get a good pitch to hit. We talked about the fact that McKeon will pitch to him unless it's a situation where he can't let McGwire beat him. The law of averages against him. He hasn't homered. It's the only team he hasn't homered against. But figure this out right here, and think about this as we watch today's game. This is the third season in a row that he's hit more than 50 home runs. He's the only player ever to do that. And all he's doing right now, if you sat him down and asked about it, he'd just say, I've seen about 10 or 15 better pitches to hit over the course of a season. It's old hat to him to hit more than 50 home runs, 58 last year. I guess if he gets over 62, though, he'll change his mind about it, be a little more happy.
Well, again, no matter what happens today or in the days and weeks that follow, it is indeed our privilege and our pleasure to be here and to bring it to you at home. It's the Cincinnati Reds and the St. Louis Cardinals. Mark McGwire's pursuit of history continues. And coming up next, a great day of baseball. And we'll have it for you coming up right after this timeout.
It all started when we picked up Jake Plummer on the way to our road show in New York.
Be there. Terry and Jake were analyzing the quarterback matchup for the Lions-Packers opener, and things got a little competitive.
Bradshaw, I've seen better arms on a chair.
Pre-game coverage begins at noon Eastern, live from New York tomorrow.
Welcome to St. Louis, Missouri for today's Fox Saturday Baseball Game of the Week. This afternoon, the Cincinnati Reds take on Mark McGwire and the St. Louis Cardinals. Fans are packed in, waiting for number 25 to hit number 60 or 61. Kids, adults, the young and old, hoping to see history here this afternoon. And welcome to the ballpark, everybody. I'm Joe Buck, along with my partner, Tim McCarver. Now, everybody is thinking about Mark McGwire with good reason. He's already set the home run record for single-season home runs by a right-handed batter. He has hit 59. Up next, number 60, and a former record held by Babe Ruth, who hit 60 in 1927. Can you believe that we're talking about these kind of numbers, and here we are in the first week of the month of September?
It is staggering as the McGwire watch continues, Joe, while the nation's media tries to decide whether it's safe to send their laundry out. Mark McGwire in the last 17 games, remarkably, has 12 home runs, a .382 batting average. However, the Cincinnati Reds are the only team in the National League who have held Mark McGwire homerless this year. 2 for 16 on the year with 12 walks, and he's 0 for 1 against the starter today, Dennys Reyes.
Well, earlier in the year, in July, when the Reds were here, they pitched around McGwire time and time again. If they do that here this afternoon, this ballpark may come down. We are in the city, the ballpark where Roger Maris ended his major league career. And today we watch for McGwire to hit number 60, maybe beyond. Stay tuned. Baseball's coming up from Fox Sports, home of the 1998 World Series. We'll return to St. Louis after a break from your local station.
You're watching Fox Saturday Baseball Game of the Week. At the Bedroom Superstore, we've solved the year 2000 problem.
Make no down payment and pay no interest till the year 2000.
That's right, the year 2000.
This Labor Day weekend.
America's largest selection of beds and bedrooms at America's guaranteed lowest prices.
Over 50 unique bedroom styles, and everyone comes complete at one low price.
Plus, make no down payment and pay no interest till the year 2000.
That's right, till 2000, this Labor Day weekend.
Offer ends Monday, 9 p.m. only at the Bedroom Superstore.
A tailor is to your suit as a good mechanic is to your car. If your sleeves aren't right or your jacket doesn't lie smoothly, you're not going to look good. Which is why we see our master tailors as our most important accessory. After all, they make sure you look as good in our suits as you do in those that cost a lot more.
Every day, more than 3,000 people buy a suit or sport coat at the Men's Warehouse.
You're going to like the way you look. I guarantee it.
1-800-776-SUIT.
It's the Battle of the Bays, and you can be there on game day. Stop by Potawatomi Bingo and Casino and register for a chance to win 2 tickets to the Green Bay Tampa game on September 13th at Lambeau Field, and qualify for a chance to win the grand prize, an all-expense-paid weekend for 2, including airfare, hotel, and tickets for 2 to the Green Bay Tampa game in Florida on December 7th. The Battle of the Bays. Register to win today at Potawatomi Bingo Casino. Brought to you by Fox 6 and America's Pack.
How big is this year's Labor Day weekend sale at McGwire's Furniture?
It's gigantic. Really, really big. Even bigger than Smitty.
Everything in the store's on sale, like these stylish sofas. Your choice, $3.99. Save a big 33%. This Lane Rocker recliner, just $299.95. You save over 25%.
Now that's big.
Hi, McGwire's Labor Day sale. How big is it?
This big, only bigger. I love the store.
This fall, the Pack plays here. You're watching WITI Fox 6.
Welcome back to the ballpark here in St. Louis at Busch Stadium. Mark McGwire and the Cardinals about ready to head out. He gets his usual pregame hug and back crack from Kent Merker. You can see the intensity, and I'm sure the nerves bouncing around in the stomach of Mark McGwire. It was one thing, Tim, to hit the home runs, get to 59 while in Florida. But then an off day, an ill-placed off day for Mark McGwire as he had a chance to think about it. Last night, a little testy with the media here in St. Louis, and I think feeling the pressure, an 0 for night against Cincinnati here last night.
An 0 for night against Pete Harnish, who had a terrific night of pitching. Matter of fact, Cincinnati beat the Cardinals last night for the 7th time this year. And that's a feat in itself, cracking his back.
Yeah, right. Might crack your own in the process as Mark McGwire leads the Cardinals to the field. And we get ready for baseball here on a Saturday afternoon here on Fox. Donovan Osborne and the Cardinals to the field, and Jack McKeon, Cincinnati Reds, will take on this left-hander who has had a tough time staying healthy, but when he is healthy and out there on the mound, he can be tough. Here's a look at the MCI starting lineup for the Cincinnati Reds. Reggie Sanders leads off in center. Barry Larkin bats second at shortstop. He has been red hot in the number 2 spot for Jack McKeon in the Reds lineup, with Sean Casey at first, Dennys Young, the former Cardinal, in left, Brett Boone at second base with Chris Steins in right, Aaron Boone, Brett's younger brother, at third base with Brooke Fordyce catching, and Dennys Reyes, the left-hander, pitching and batting ninth. How about a look at the Cardinal defense? They stack up this way with Osborne on the hill throwing to Lampkin this afternoon, and the Cardinal defense has been horrendous in 1998. The focus on McGwire, the first baseman, who can handle the first base position, and right now our focus on the left-hander, 3-game winner, Donovan Osborne.
3-3. If you're wondering why he has only 6 decisions for the 6th consecutive year, make that the 5th consecutive year, Donovan Osborne has been on the disabled list. He has spent 403 days on the inactive list and 408 days on the active list throughout his 5 years in the big league.
So just recently did he get on the plus side? There's personal plus minus. He is plus, but not by much, and he has been an enigma here in St. Louis since signing a long-term deal next year, the final year of his long-term contract. And we look at the scouting report, which the Cincinnati Reds are well aware of, having faced Donovan Osborne over the years. What does this left-hander feature?
An outstanding changeup, a good overhand curveball. Deadly. This is the key to Donovan Osborne. Deadly when throwing that changeup for a strike. His fastball is the 4-seam variety. And obviously the durability that we mentioned has been a problem.
Speaking of problems, you and I, in getting prepared for this game, as you look at Tony La Russa, the Cardinal manager, whose team has had another underachieving year for the 2nd consecutive season, we were putting down the numbers for guys like Sean Casey and Dennys Young and Luis Ordaz and Pat Kelly, all the while thinking about McGwire as we prepare for this game. And we know that you're thinking about McGwire as well. The broadcast also available in Spanish by utilizing the SAP button on your television. Glad you're with us on a Saturday afternoon. Mark McGwire and his 59 home runs taking on Cincinnati and the Reds with a record of 66 and 75. Donovan Osborne ready to go, and we're underway in St. Louis with a strike. Talk about disabled list and talk about a guy who's got a ton of talent but has a tough time staying healthy. You can say the same for the man at the plate, Reggie Sanders. 1 ball, 1 strike.
I have never broadcast a game in my 19 years where the emphasis has not been on winning. And today, obviously, the emphasis is not on winning, but whether Mark McGwire homers or not.
Mark McGwire has taken a team sport, and in 1998, at least in the second half, to be fair, has turned it into an individual game. That shot foul, backing out of play. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Well, we had a late lineup change for the Cardinals on a 93-degree day. John Mabry is now in the lineup and playing in right field. They move Langford out of the lineup and Brian Jordan to center. So there's John Mabry in right. And we'll try to get word on what's wrong with Ray Langford, who last night, like we had a week ago, after a swing, had to shake out his hand, and you wonder if it's something with a hand to the wrist. But we will get a definitive word and pass it on.
We saw that last week in our game with Gary Sheffield of the Dodgers.
Here's a 2-hopper to Pat Kelly to the right side, and Sanders is gone, and that's the way we begin here in St. Louis. Reggie Sanders is erased, and the number 2 man in the lineup, Barry Larkin, a very interesting story around here, walks to the plate. A lot of the Cardinals and a lot of the Cardinal fans hope that Barry Larkin next year will be seated in the other dugout. There's a glaring hole at shortstop for the Cardinals after they traded away Royce Clayton. And there was some talk right before the trading deadline of acquiring Larkin. That didn't happen. The folks around here thinking maybe during the offseason. Ball 1.
So a possibility of Barry Larkin going from the Red of Cincinnati to the Red of St. Louis next year.
Would didn't have to change his shoes. 2-0 to count on Larkin. We showed you during the lineup portion. At the start, Larkin is over the 400 mark, batting in the number 2 spot for the Reds. There's a good moving strike over the inside corner, and the count 2 balls and a strike. Leadoff man is gone. The 2-1 pitch to Larkin is popped up. Into right for John Mabry. 2 up, 2 down in the top of the first inning. Don Gullett, a great pitcher in his own right, the pitching coach for Cincinnati, and here are his thoughts on the Reds' efforts in pitching to McGwire in this series.
We've always said in the past, in our first 6 ball games, Mark McGwire isn't going to get the opportunity to be in the ball game. It means walking with the man up.
And you can understand why he does such a good job with that speech pattern of relating to these young pitchers with the Cincinnati Reds. Sometimes they have difficulty understanding him. Sometimes he speaks clearly. Or it's our fault and the tape didn't really work well. They'll pitch to him unless he's in a spot to beat him. End of story. Ball 1 low and away, and now ball 2 low and away. 2-0. Sean Casey, a good young talent that the Cincinnati Reds got from Cleveland. A day before opening day trade with the Indians for Dave Burba. 3-0.
One of the fun things about coming to a ballpark is to try to figure out the mood of a crowd. And the mood of this crowd, as far as I'm concerned, not only do they not want the Reds to score, they don't want walks, men on base. They want to see Mark McGwire as quickly as possible.
It's a hot day.
Yeah.
It's a hot day here in St. Louis, and it is a packed house on a weekend unlike any other around here. It has been the topic of conversation really since the curtain came up on 1998, and then when the Cardinals fell out of the race, seemingly just after the All-Star break, where they really had no realistic shot of making it to the postseason, even in the wild card. That's the kind of a season it's been. All of the focus here in St. Louis and around baseball headed straight for McGwire. Ball 1 after a walk to Casey and a visit from Lampkin to Osborne.
Sammy Sosa, on the other hand, who hit number 57 last night, has been wrapped up in a pennant race. If not a pennant race, certainly a postseason race. They are a game in front of the New York Mets, 3 games in front of the San Francisco Giants, as McGwire stands all alone, 2 ahead of Sammy, who will be facing Sean Lawrence, a rookie for the Pittsburgh Pirates this evening in Pittsburgh.
Young pops it up, should end the inning. A 2-out walk to Casey. Young flies to right, and the inning is over. We go to the bottom of the first. Mark McGwire hits third for the Cardinals. We'll see him in just moments. 59 and counting. No score after a half.
I talk to my mom every Sunday. Nothing big, just to stay close. Tell her what the kids are up to. And that's why I signed up for MCI 5-cent Sundays. It's just 5 cents a minute, so we can talk for half an hour for just $1.50. That same call is $4.50 with AT&T's One Rate. We save more with MCI. And best of all,
hi, Grandma.
we all get to talk more.
Call 1-800-Sundays to become an MCI customer.
I was driving across country on the way to my first job, just out of college. I had hardly any money. Yeah, that's when my car starts making this weird noise. I saw a Firestone store with MasterCare car service. So I had them check it out, and guess what? They found the problem and even suggested a way to fix it that saved me money when I needed it most. I'll never forget that.
Let's go. Split them up.
MasterCare means we guarantee to fix it right or your money back. MasterCare at Firestone. Just what your car needs.
Baby, baby, it looks like it's gonna hail. Baby, baby, it looks like it's gonna hail. You better come inside, let me teach you how to jive and wheel. Oh, you gotta jump and jive and then you really gotta jump and jive and then you really gotta jump and jive and then you really.
It is the 21-year-old left-hander, Dennys Reyes. And he is in the spotlight this afternoon. Will his name get onto the list? The MCI starting lineup for the St. Louis Cardinals. Pat Kelly at second. John Mabry now in right, with Mark McGwire hitting third. At first base with 59 home runs and 146 walks. Brian Jordan's in center, backing him up with Gannon left. Tatis at third base. Luis Ordaz, the rookie shortstop. Donovan Osborne, the pitcher, hits eighth in the second half of the year for Tony La Russa, and Tom Lampkin catching and batting ninth. The defense for the Cincinnati Reds, they stack up this way. About as good as you're going to find up the middle. With Larkin at short, Boone at second. They turn double plays, and they make your jaw hit the floor with the way they do it, how quickly they can do it. And that defense works behind the young left-hander, Dennys Reyes.
The one thing to keep in mind when Reyes faces Mark McGwire is he is naturally wild. 43 bases on balls and only 61 2/3 innings. And that's a key today, because if he's out of the strike zone, I would imagine the crowd here will boo on every ball.
There's a ball to Pat Kelly, who is hitting .224. A couple of home runs, 11 RBIs, and we had a chance to do a game here earlier this season right after the Cardinals had picked up Kelly from the Toronto Blue Jays AAA franchise in Syracuse. And his addition to this team has meant more than any other addition they've made since the start of 1998. If he does nothing else, he is one of, if not Mark McGwire's best friend. And to have him to bum around with away from the field and get away from all this pressure has been invaluable for McGwire. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Pat Kelly. Pat Kelly and Mark McGwire come to the ballpark together every day. And it is Pat Kelly's job to get McGwire's mind off everything he's trying to accomplish. Kelly fouls it away, still 2-2.
They certainly did that last winter when they went to South Africa together, their wives, and they took that trip to the northern part of South Africa, and both saying that it was one of the great trips of their life, of their lives.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Kelly leading off. That's strike 3 called. 1 away. Steve Lyons is out in left field, which I think is redundant. Let's check in with Steve right now. Hi, Steve.
Hey, Joe, what's going on? I'm out in sections. I'm in Big Mac land, man. We're 475 feet away. I got my Mac, I got my glove, I got it all. I'm sitting with Kevin here. Kevin, how do you prepare to catch a home run if he hits it up here?
Get the glove on real fast, or it's going to hurt a whole lot.
This is going to be up in 2 batters. Tell me, there's a base hit. What do you do? What do you do with the home run ball if you get it?
I give it back to him and shake his hand.
That's the right answer, but if it's worth $1 million, it's a little tougher. Thanks a lot, Kevin. Hey, let's go back to you guys, Joe.
Thank you, Steve, and here he is. We would like to welcome you watching the Atlanta Braves and the New York Mets, the man who every time he walks to the plate gets a standing ovation around these parts, Mark McGwire. 59 home runs and counting. Last night, his first game back from a road trip in which he hit 4 home runs in a couple of days in Florida. He was hitless against the Cincinnati Reds. His next home run would be number 60. And a ball down and in.
Dennys Reyes is a rookie, and Mark McGwire has 57 at-bats against rookie pitchers this year with 8 home runs.
McGwire with 59, 2 out in front of Sosa at the moment as he takes ball 2-0, which draws the wrath of the fans here at Busch Stadium. The Cincinnati Reds have not allowed a McGwire home run in 1998, the only team in the National League that can say that. In the left field, they can't say it anymore. 60! didn't take long. A 2-0 pitch from Dennys Reyes, and Mark McGwire can make all those skeptics now forget as Jordan hits one off the glove of Boone. That should be a double for Brian. Mark McGwire, Tim McCarver can make all the skeptics forget about the 154-game schedule as he hits number 60 to tie the former record held by Babe Ruth, which stood for 34 years in the Cardinals' 141st game of 1998.
Babe Ruth hit his 60th in the Yankees' 154th game in 1927. A 2-0 fastball from Dennys Reyes. And I wonder who caught it.
Whoever it is being ushered to a very safe place right now, which is Major League Baseball's policy. You catch the home run, you come with some people dressed in security guard outfits, and you go to a safe holding spot, and then you start making decisions. Here's Gant, who takes a ball low. I'll ask you, Tim McCarver. You're the average fan. You catch the home run, what do you do with it?
I give it back to Mark McGwire, but I'm not the average fan. I can understand whatever an average fan wants to do with it. It doesn't matter to me. To me, it's not a matter of virtue or anything like that. It might be a matter of money for some fans. Certainly, a lot has been said about that. Even $1 million has been offered for home run number 62.
Jordan stealing third, but Gant fouls it at the plate. Brian upset. He had that base stolen. But I ask you that because the average fan has been giving the ball back to McGwire. It doesn't matter who catches it, it seems, young or old. They are willing to give it back to him. He has gotten the last 4 home run balls back with very little effort.
There's a great story that Chip Carey told on the pregame show. Sammy Sosa's 56th home run, and a lady tried to give it back, and Sammy said, keep it, after he signed it.
The 1-1 pitch to Gant is out of the strike zone, 2-1.
I think it'll be different, however, when fans catch 60, 61, and 62.
The stakes kind of change a little bit.
Yes, they do.
57's a little different than number 61 or
yes,
62.
It is.
Runner at second with 1 out. The Cardinals, oh, by the way, the Cardinals lead 2-0. And a look back at second as Reyes spins but does not throw back toward Jordan. Well, I was saying right before, the Cincinnati Reds came into today's game the only team in the National League that could say they hadn't allowed a McGwire home run. Even the Braves have allowed 2. And a 2-0 pitch from Reyes challenging McGwire. And McGwire won the challenge.
Team that has allowed the most, the Florida Marlins, with 7.
The world champion Florida Marlins. In case some of our fans have forgotten, I have to remind myself from time to time that they are the reigning world champions with everything that's happened in South Florida. 3 balls and a strike on Gant. Jordan at second with 1 out. The walk to Gant puts 2 on for Tatis. Let's take you back to the 2-0 pitch to Mark McGwire and the home run that ties Babe Ruth. From one angle to another, to another, to another, and he's only 2 curtain calls away from a new single-season home run record.
You know, Joe, the only time that I've seen Mark that emotional on a home run was the 50th that he hit off Willie Blair at Shea Stadium against the New York Mets.
2 on here with 1 out after a visit by Don Gullett to Dennys Reyes. Here's his pitch to Tatis, and it's up for ball 1. So fitting what you said earlier about Reyes when you were setting the pitcher, talking about Dennys Reyes and his, at times, wildness and his pitching approach. He fell behind 2-0. The crowd got on him, and he challenged McGwire. There's a base hit into left field. Jordan will take the turn and try. Running right in the face of Young, safe at the plate. Gant will hold at third, and it's 3-0 St. Louis. To see how they rule that. Not much of a throw from Dimitri Young in left.
But probably an error, a throwing error on Aaron Boone, the third baseman. Young does not have a good arm. By nature, he's a first baseman. Boone could not get the ball out of his glove. He throws it by. Brooke Fordyce, the catcher. So I would imagine it's a throwing error on Boone.
It's a single, it's an RBI single, and no error, which is impossible.
Yeah, it's got to be an error to allow the runners Gant to third and Tatis to second.
Well, this is a bad day for an official scorer to have a bad day, because there is every member of the media right on his back over in the press box to our left. I have a feeling there will be an error given on that play before the end of the maybe before the end of the inning. It's second and third, one out for Luis Ordaz. But you have to give the error as the throw got away to allow the other runners to advance. You can give the RBI, fine, but as Gant gets out of the way of that line drive, and now Ordaz is in the hole 0-2. I've got to catch up my scorebook now. After the home run by McGwire, everything just kind of stopped. Meanwhile, the Cardinals have had a double, a walk, an RBI hit by Tatis, and now enjoy a 3-0 lead. Second and third, one out in the 0-2 to Ordaz. That gets away from Fordyce. Gant comes to the plate safe, and it's 4-0 Cardinals. Well, it has been a horrific first inning for Dennys Reyes. Not only a 4-run deficit, but he's on the McGwire list now.
Being the 12th left-hander this year who has given up home runs to Mark McGwire. Fordyce trying, but Gant scoring.
Runner at third, one out. The 1-2 to Ordaz. Good pitch down and in to strike him out. Two gone. And the second strikeout for Reyes.
You could put Fernando Valenzuela and Dennys Reyes. Valenzuela breaking into the National League in 1981. Put Reyes, Valenzuela next to one another and watch them walk and not really see a big difference in the way they carried themselves compared to Valenzuela when he was with the Dodgers.
Runner at third, two out now for the number 8 hitter, Donovan Osborne. And one thing this big first inning does, it probably gives McGwire another at-bat during the rest of this game, which has been significant, especially in those games against Florida. That's why it doesn't surprise me that he has the most home runs hit against the Marlins, because the Cardinals have run up the score on the Marlins a couple of times, which gives McGwire maybe another chance or two per game to hit a home run. 2 balls and a strike on Osborne.
Well, speaking of long games, that was when Mark McGwire took the lead from Sammy Sosa back on the 19th of August. Sosa went ahead of McGwire, and then McGwire tied the game in the 9th inning and then won it in extra innings at Wrigley Field in Chicago. And as fate would have it, the Cubs come here on Monday and Tuesday nights.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Osborne, with Rick Krivda getting ready for the Reds in the first inning out in their bullpen. Tatis at third with 2 out, and Osborne stays alive, who can handle a bat rather well for a pitcher.
Would it not be the irony of ironies if Sammy Sosa had 3 home runs in tonight's game and tomorrow's game at Pittsburgh, and both Titans met on Monday night with 60 home runs apiece?
That strike 3 called, and Dennys Reyes strikes out the side, but nobody will remember that. Watch out, Babe Ruth. Number 60 just landed in the seats in left field. 60 for McGwire, and a 4-0 St. Louis lead after 1.
You change your oil every 3,000 miles, right? You don't, do you? You push it. Now you're so busy you try to squeeze another 1,000 miles out of your oil. Or more. Well, squeeze this. Just to do it yourself when you have the time. Reformulated Quaker State. Protection beyond 3,000 miles under any driving conditions. Anybody say insurance? It's been tested. And unlike that lazy uncle nobody really likes to talk about, it works. So go get some. Quaker State. Sensible technology. What more do you need to know?
Work piling up? That's the perfect time to declare a national holiday. National Car Rental is declaring every day a national holiday. With our great holiday rates, you can escape to the outdoors, or the golf greens, or just about anywhere else by renting a midsize from National in Florida or California for only $159 per week. At this rate, you can't afford to stay home. So call National Car Rental now and declare your own national holiday.
How do you get this equipment to these troops when there's a river between them? Build a bridge. Problem solving. You need it now in college. Learn it now in the Army Reserve.
This is the Midas Gold Muffler. It comes with a Midas lifetime warranty, and it's now just $49.95, $69.95 for select imports. Let's review. Midas Gold Muffler, lifetime warranty, $49.95. Hurry, the price of gold has never been lower.
55.
What'll it be?
We'll take some rice and...
Get some pork, too.
Yeah.
Now you can choose which teams you see every Sunday with DirecTV and NFL Sunday Ticket. There's up to 13 regular season games a week.
Rice check on farm.
Hey, Brett. Hey, John.
So stock up on all your favorites. NFL Sunday Ticket. It's not on cable. See it on DirecTV. So what are you looking at?
Attention shoppers. Now get $200 worth of programming when you get DirecTV.
On King of the Hill season premiere, who's gonna die?
The day they kill the main character is the day I die.
Find out Fox Tuesday at 8, 7 Central.
Come on, guys, get it together. There's number 60. He's 1 away from tying the magic number, as we've been saying around here all year, is now 2. Mark McGwire in the first inning on a 2-0 pitch from Dennys Reyes. Goes deep, a 381-foot shot. That's how they measured it, in case you want to know. Good play by Ordaz in the hole. Good, strong throw, 1 away. With that home run, Mr. McCarver, 2 things. You can send your laundry out.
Thank you.
And tomorrow, you can't miss a special edition of Fox Saturday Baseball when Mark McGwire will have the chance to etch a place in baseball history when he looks to break Roger Maris's record. Unless it goes crazy today. It all starts at 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific, after Fox NFL Sunday, only here on Fox. Here's Chris Steins. One ball, 1 strike. 1 out, nobody on, and Steins out in front. There's the changeup, 74 miles per hour. 1 and 2. This is why Osborne drives the Cardinal front office nuts. When he's healthy, he can pitch, and he is one of the better left-handers you'll find in the game today, but the big word is when he is healthy.
What he can do makes the Cardinals upset. It's what he hasn't done.
Pitch is chopped to the right side for Kelly. One good friend to another. Kelly to McGwire, 2 out. As you look at McGwire and you think of Roger Maris, you look at his career profile, which I am sure a lot of people aren't aware of. He was the reigning American League MVP when he hit 61 home runs in 1961. And he finished his career here in St. Louis with the Cardinals. He played with the Yankees from 60 to 66, and here in St. Louis, 67 and 68.
I was a member of those teams, Joe, and had the privilege of playing with Maris, and it was interesting to note what a good ball player, an all-around ball player Roger Maris was, how he threw, how he always threw to the proper base, the way he ran the bases. Nobody was as good as Roger in trying to decide on whether to go from first to third, a key thing in your offense, and the way he carried himself. I'm not sure that the Cardinals would not have won the pennants those 2 years because the pitching was so strong, but Maris made it easier.
2 out, nobody on. And the 1-2 pitch to Aaron Boone is right down the middle to strike him out looking. Donovan Osborne gets his first strikeout at 1-2-3 second inning. Lampkin, Kelly, Mabry coming up. If anybody gets on, McGwire.
Most running backs train for speed. That's because they're looking for the path of least resistance. Me, I train mainly for power. Because I'm thinking, who needs a path?
This Labor Day weekend,
I'm talking sausage hot dogs, beer. Not light beer, but beer.
kick back,
Ow! We got a bleeder!
relax, throw another dog on the Barbie, and spend the holiday with Mary.
How's everything?
Fine. You know, I'm strong like bull.
There's something about Mary. Rated R. Now playing. If it takes forever, I will wait for you for 1,000 summers. I will wait for you.
There's certain things you just can't live without. Okay. I'm back. A good receiver is one of them. Visa's the other.
Jerry.
Yeah.
Don't tell the guys about the flowers.
Official card of the NFL and everywhere you want to be.
Fox Saturday Baseball Game of the Week, brought to you by Adidas. By Red Lobster. Come in and see for yourself why life on land is dry at Red Lobster. By Visa, it's everywhere you want to be. And by the United States Army Reserve. Be all you can be.
A view from across the Mississippi River on a hot, oppressive day here in St. Louis, a historic day here in St. Louis. First at bat by McGwire. He hit home run number 60, which used to be the old mark, which stood for 34 years. Babe Ruth hitting 60 in 1927. You can throw that asterisk right out the window. Forget it. McGwire hits number 60 in the Cardinals' 141st game. As Lampkin takes a strike, and we're underway in the second inning. One ball, one strike.
Actually, there never was an asterisk behind Roger Maris's 1961 season, but it was tantamount to an asterisk. Ford Frick gathering the writers, Baseball Writers of America Association in New York in July, early July of 1961, saying it looks like Roger Maris has a chance to break the Babe's record. The Babe and Ford Frick were very, very close friends, and so they decided on 2 listings, one for 154 games with Babe Ruth and one for 162 with Roger Maris. So while there was technically no asterisk, it was tantamount to an asterisk.
Ford Frick being the commissioner at the time, and the interesting thing about that and about this record is that was the only record listed with 2 separate listings.
Yeah, right.
It wasn't stolen bases or on-base percentage or what other records you can think of. It was the home run record. Here's a pitch just up and in. 3 balls, 2 strikes on Lampkin. Pat Kelly next, then Mabry. How about John Mabry, a late addition to the lineup? He gets the hit, and he's on base as McGwire hits home run number 60. Lampkin pops it up. Steins in right. Tiptoes after it, 1 away. Well, you want to see it in print? Here you go. All-time home run leaders in a single season. Mark McGwire tied with Babe Ruth. And Mark only 1 away from tying Roger Maris and 2 away from a new mark. Kelly, strike 1.
I would imagine Tony La Russa will continue playing McGwire even if and when he gets to 62. Because if Tony doesn't do that, then there is a chance that Sammy Sosa could not only tie McGwire this year, but eclipse Mark, and that would certainly take something away from his achievement.
Here's a little flare to center. This ball will drop for a base hit for Kelly. Well, Steve Lyons is our roving reporter, and we check back in with Psycho. Hi, Steve.
Oh, what's going on, you guys? This is the man right here that got number 60, Denny Allen. Denny, let me see the ball. You got it?
Yeah, I got it in my pocket. I got it hidden, but here it is.
That is awesome. What are you going to do with it?
I'm going to give it back to the man. It's his ball. It is his ball.
That's a classy thing to do, but let me ask you this question. If it was number 62,
right,
it's worth $1 million. Do you still give it back?
Well, it's worth $1 million to somebody who's going to do that to the ball. You know, I don't think it's worth $1 million. To me, I think it's worth giving the ball back to the man. And, you know, there's a few things I'd like to do to participate with the Cardinals. I would like to meet Mark McGwire. And really, that's what I've said from the beginning. You know, when dreaming with my buddies, talking about catching the ball, and I said I would give it back to him with a few small requests.
Take some BP.
But I want to take some batting practice. I do.
All right, this is Denny Allen. No one knows him right now. Tonight, everyone's going to know him. Back to you guys up there.
All right, Steve, thank you. Just a few things he wants to do with McGwire, like share a duplex maybe during the 1999 season. Get a chance to know him. I heard a great idea the other night. Or something you could do if you caught number 62, 1 on, 1 out. Mabry out in front, 1-1. A friend of a friend said if he caught number 62, he would give it back to McGwire. It would eventually end up in Cooperstown as long as they promised to take his picture with the ball and display his picture with the ball in Cooperstown.
That's fair. That's fair.
Mabry pops it up, which is great news to Cardinal fans because McGwire's coming up. Boone puts it away. 1 on, 2 out, and here he is again. Two out for Mark McGwire, who is sitting on 60 home runs. Ball 1 low, and already this crowd jumps on the back of Dennys Reyes as this game has jumped on the back of Mark McGwire. Number 25 is sitting on 60. To welcome those of you who have been watching the Atlanta Braves and the New York Mets. Mark McGwire in his first at bat, a 2-0 pitch, hit a 2-run homer into left, 381 feet for home run number 60. 1 more would tie the all-time record. There's a strike, and it's 2-1. Mark McGwire at the plate. Not only the 60 home runs, but 127 RBIs. Here it comes from Reyes. McGwire is gone. A 1-2 pitch that gets past him, and the inning comes to a close. McGwire with 60 home runs, 1 out of 2 on the day. We'll track him throughout the afternoon. The Cardinals lead by 4.
Step up to the plate for an all-new season of Ally McBeal beginning September 14th.
I don't know about you, but I often stop and wonder, what if? Like, what if I didn't make it to the World Championship in 1983? Or what if I didn't break my leg in front of millions of fans a few years later? My thoughts used to center on my game.
Then, like you, I had a family and discovered what worrying was really about. What if something happened to you? How would your family get by? Could they pay the mortgage and your other bills? Would the kids' education suffer? Many folks don't have enough life insurance, and if you're counting on what you have at work, consider this. Half of all workers lose their coverage when they retire, and the older you are when you try to replace it, the more difficult and expensive it can be, even if you're in the best of health.
Fortunately, there's Life Choice, a new offer from Conseco Direct, the new name for Colonial Penn Life. It provides up to $25,000 in affordable whole life insurance protection.
At some of the most reasonable rates you'll find anywhere. You'd think it would be tough to get protection like this, but it's easy. All you do is answer 3 simple health questions. No medical exam is required, and once accepted, your coverage cannot be canceled. This is not a term life insurance plan that offers you coverage for a set number of years and then stops. This is permanent whole life insurance. It fully protects from day one. There's no waiting period. And your benefit amount, as much as $25,000, is guaranteed not to decrease, ever. What's more, your premium is guaranteed never to increase. Plus, the plan builds cash value you can borrow against for any reason.
If you're between 45 and 75, you can take advantage of this exciting offer from Conseco Direct Life.
Start by picking up the phone to ask for more information. No agent will come to your door, and your free information will be sent to you by mail without obligation. So call now.
Call 1-800-223-7200 to receive free information in the mail. Dial 1-800-223-7200. The call is free, and so is this handy guide to retirement planning. Call now. 1-800-223-7200. There's no risk or obligation. That's 1-800-223-7200.
The home of the NFC champs, WITI, Fox 6.
We're into the top of the 3rd inning with Brooke Fordyce to lead it off for the Reds. With Dennys Reyes the pitcher and Reggie Sanders to follow as Osborne, who has worked well. He allowed a 2-out walk to Sean Casey in the 1st inning. Followed that up by getting Dimitri Young to fly to right. And then had a perfect 2nd inning, so it's Fordyce, the number 8 hitter, leading off the 3rd.
So the Reds with no hits off Osborne right now. Wouldn't it be something on a day where Mark McGwire hits at least his 60th if Osborne pitched a no-hitter? We want more, Joe.
That's right.
Yes, we want more.
We need more.
That's right.
Fordyce out in front. And that's strike 2. 0-2, the count on Brooke Fordyce. On 0-2, Osborne brings it, and he ends up with his 2nd strikeout in a row. Well, what a day tomorrow it will be on Fox. Tomorrow it's the premiere of Fox NFL Sunday. Most of you will see the Lions taking on the Packers in a Central Division battle, or the Redskins and the Giants in a battle for the East, plus other regional action. It all starts at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, with a pregame show live from Giants Stadium with Terry, Howie, JB, and Chris Collinsworth only on Fox, and we follow that up with McGwire and the Cardinals against the Cincinnati Reds at 4 o'clock Eastern from St. Louis on Fox. Reyes pops to right, 2 up, 2 down.
So the NFL opening tomorrow, and interesting to note that Keyshawn Johnson, the wide receiver of the New York Jets, was the bat boy for Mark McGwire and the University of Southern California when McGwire was in his sophomore year.
You start to get stories like that coming.
Yeah. I mean, they're going to be coming out of the woodwork about Mark McGwire and what relationship everybody, whether they're athletes or not.
Whether they're true or not.
Whether they're true or not, right.
And then back in the late 70s, Mark and I, every day after school, 2 out, nobody on, Reggie Sanders at the plate. And a popping fastball from Osborne for strike 1. 6 in a row have been set down by Donovan Osborne. That's strike 2. might be, to go along with your script, which you concocted last night, or at least since Osborne has a no-hitter through 2 2/3, be the only day a no-hitter would be overshadowed. I mean, nobody would hardly talk about it.
Oh, and by the way, Donovan Osborne threw a no-hitter.
2 out, nobody on, and ball 1 to Reggie Sanders. I give McGwire's teammates a lot of credit. Yeah, these are very proud athletes. A lot of guys who have had the spotlight and the focus on them throughout their lives as athletes, and they have taken a backseat to McGwire and have enjoyed the ride to the point where they're all rooting for McGwire, and I think all of baseball.
No question.
The opponents, I've heard some opposing pitchers who have given up home runs to McGwire have been, in an odd way, rooting for the home run and rooting for McGwire to break the record. Here's the 2-2 pitch. That sounded funny, and Osborne, a good play to his right. Good throw to end the inning, and the Reds, for the second straight inning, go in order. Bottom of the 3rd inning coming up. For those of you just joining us, here's what you missed in the 1st inning. Number 60 off the bat of Mark McGwire. Stay with us. A historic day on Fox. A beautiful day in St. Louis. And for the 60th time this year, Mark McGwire takes the tour.
There's a medical emergency, but no hospital. What do you do? Build one. Leadership. Learn it now in the Army Reserve. Use it now in your career.
Introducing the Midas battery. Now for just $49.99 with rebate. Batteries. Brand new from Midas.
Hey, what are you doing? I'm just watching some home movies. Oh, look at that little ball of dough. Is that you? You got a very good eye. That is me. And look over there, that's you. Remember this? Sauce made from vine-ripened tomatoes, 100% real mozzarella. Beautiful pepperoni. This just brings back a lot of memories. I'm flooded. We go up so fast. You crying? No, it's the onion. Really? I can see you tearing up. No.
Get 2 Little Caesars pizzas featuring our authentic 1959 recipe and 3 toppings for just $10.99.
Pizza, pizza.
You okay? I'm fine. I'm fine. Ready? On 3. 1, 2, 3.
It's very clear our love is here to stay. Not for a year, but ever and a day.
Just checking.
Our love is here to
Hello?
stay.
Just checking.
When you ship with Priority Mail, it's a great way to save money. But what about other parts of the world? There's Global Priority Mail. And here's the best part. Give us a few days more, and you can save up to 70% over FedEx or UPS. So, what's your global priority? Try Global Priority Mail from the U.S. Postal Service.
First pitch of the bottom of the 3rd inning sinks low and inside to Brian Jordan for ball 1. Gant and Tatis will follow against Dennys Reyes. 4 runs on 4 hits for the Cardinals in the 1st inning. A wild pitch mixed in, which allowed another run to score. And the count 2-0 here on Jordan, who doubled and scored his first time up. On 2-0. 3-0 from Reyes. Jordan leading off. Took a strike. Jordan didn't like the call, and Larry Poncino didn't like Jordan's reaction, so he stands with his hands on his hips. And here comes the 3-1. There's ball 4 to issue a leadoff walk for Reyes. It's walk number 2.
Everybody in the country is familiar with Jack Buck and his famous calls. He is the Leonard Bernstein of baseball broadcasters, and his call on the Mark McGwire home run was this: move over Babe Ruth, wake up Babe Ruth, you got company coming. Only Jack. You know him, don't you?
I do know him.
Yes.
1 on, nobody out for Ron Gant. Gant pops it up into center field. Late break by Sanders, but coming on to make the catch. 1 away.
Wake up, Babe Ruth. You got company coming.
I got you, babe.
Oh, babe, I got you, babe. Oh, man.
So McGwire is tied Ruth with the 60th. The radio call is still the most pure way to relive a home run. You do it on television, you want to say what happened and get out because the pictures and the crowd will carry the action, and we are blessed with producer John Filippelli and director Bill Webb, who does an incredible job down in the truck. 1 on, 1 out. Tatis at the plate. The check on Jordan. Jordan, a leadoff walk. Gant popped into center. And Tatis waits. Fernando has an RBI hit, and he has really impressed around here with what he's doing at the plate as he takes his tour for the first time through the National League.
Think of how the coverage has changed through the decades. Babe Ruth's home run, the 60th home run we mentioned earlier in the 154th game against a pitcher named Tom Zachary. And everybody familiar with Roger Maris's 61st on the last day of the season in 1961 against Tracy Stallard. 23,000 plus people in the stands at Yankee Stadium to see that. Hard to believe.
It is. I read that the other day.
Yeah, hard to believe.
It's hard to believe. But from what I have to read about the situation and what you lived, because it didn't happen within 154 games, a lot of people were convinced that the record wasn't as meaningful as it turned out to be. Here's the career profile for Babe Ruth. And you look at the career home run, 714, 715, and beyond belongs to Mr. Hank Aaron. The record set in April of 1974. 1 on, 1 out, and Tatis chased one for the second out. What a lot of people have their list of records, Tim, that they figure will never be broken. The one I look at, the teammate of yours, Bob Gibson, and the ERA of 1.12. At least the way the game is played right now, I don't see that being touched. Who pitched here in St. Louis, the Hall of Famer. How about the slugging percentage lifetime for Babe Ruth? .690. And there are many who believe that will never be touched. But a lot of people said that about Maris's record, Gehrig's record. Ground ball to the right side, a funny hop, but no better infielder to handle a tricky hop than Brett Boone as he takes care of it. And Ordaz and the Cardinals in the third. We go to the fourth. 4-0 St. Louis.
I always put things off till the last minute. So when I went to Firestone for Master Care car service, it was the day before my vacation. Gotta find my keys. I didn't expect them to finish all the things that I asked for, but they wanted to make sure everything was right. So they worked past closing time so I could leave for vacation on time. Except I forgot my camera.
Master Care means we guarantee to fix it right, or your money back.
Master Care at Firestone. Just what your car needs.
One official Major League Baseball, $9. New ball, $9. New ball, $9. New ball, new ball, new ball, $9. New windshield, $100. 62, priceless. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. Official card of Major League Baseball and believer that records were made to be broken.
I didn't want to buy a new PC every year till commencement. I needed one that would keep up with them. Gotta save something for college.
Introducing YourWare from Gateway. Call 1-800-GATEWAY and we'll custom build you a Gateway PC with an Intel Pentium 2 processor, all for just $49.95 a month. And in 2 years, you can trade it in towards the purchase of a new one. School's about to start, so call us now and let's talk about YourWare from Gateway.
legion of evil lives among us, and only one can save us.
It's open season on our night's darkness.
Critics call Blade heart-stopping, ultra-cool, dazzling, mesmerizing, awesome. And Siskel and Ebert give it 2 thumbs up. Wesley Snipes, Stephen Dorff in the #1 movie in America, Blade. Rated R. Now playing.
Enjoy your Labor Day weekend.
What a cute little grill, Carmine. Oh, don't worry. They say size doesn't matter.
And don't get burned. Living in Captivity premieres Friday.
Well, we give you our Aflac trivia question before we start the 4th inning. There are 2 players eligible for the Hall of Fame that have hit 50 home runs and are not enshrined in the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown. Who are they? Interesting question. As we await the first pitch to Barry Larkin. A little low for ball 1.
Since 2 is the magic number, the Aflac Trivia Quiz could be the 2 teams Mark McGwire is not homered against.
Here's a little flare down the right field line. It's fair for Larkin and into the corner. Mabry digs it out, but that's a double all the way. And Larkin is 1 for 2 on the afternoon. First hit, there goes your no-hitter, as Osborne will try to pitch around that leadoff double here in the 4th.
Against those 2 teams, the Oakland Athletics, because McGwire was a member of that team before being traded to the Cardinals, and the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. He has homered against the other expansion team this year. So we asked for 2 players in the Hall of Fame, but those are 2 teams against which Mark is not homered.
Runner at second with nobody out here to start the 4th inning. Sean Casey takes it low for ball 1. One ball, 1 strike. Well, obviously, a guy that we've talked about many times will be half that answer. Roger Maris is no longer on the regular ballot for the Hall of Fame, but eligible through the Veterans Committee. And there is talk more and more as we go that he is deserving of Hall of Fame credentials and that honor, if for no other reason than what he did in 1961 and what he did for the game. Here's a fly ball into left field. Gant back to get it. Larkin will tag, but hold as Casey did not do his job and advance the runner.
I think one of the unfortunate things about the Hall of Fame is that the Hall of Fame, obviously numbers are the most important thing about the Hall of Fame. But it shouldn't be the only criteria by which you are voted into the Hall of Fame.
Pete Rose will tell you it's not.
Yeah, that's true. And Pee Wee Reese and Phil Rizzuto, who didn't have big numbers, but they were leaders on ball clubs in New York City. Pee Wee for the Dodgers, of course. Phil with the New York Yankees. But Roger Maris played in more World Series than any other player in the 60s. He played 7 World Series with 2 different teams. 5 with the Yankees, 2 with the Cardinals. And his influence with the Cardinals was great. We talked about that before, but the influence with the Yankees, the MVP in 1960, the MVP in 1961. And was he ever a player's player?
You've talked at times before about describing a player as a gamer, which is a tremendous honor that can be given to any teammate.
After ability is formed, after ability is established, that's the greatest thing that one player can say about another player, is that he's a gamer.
Runner at second, 1 out, and Young fought it off and fouls away strike 2.
I used to, Roger, his family, my family stayed in the same apartment complex out near the Lambert Field here in St. Louis. And we rode to the park almost every day. And I remember him complaining about his right shoulder in early 1967. He said, I'll just get a shot of cortisone and go out and play tonight. I can't tell you the times he had cortisone shots in his right shoulder. 7, 8, 9 maybe. Never missed a game because of an injury in those 2 seasons.
Here's the 0-2. Young pops it up. Right side for McGwire. You can hit him out of the park. You can catch him 2 out. Former Gold Glove Award winner at first base is Mark McGwire, which gets lost in the shuffle.
I'll tell you that another thing that strikes me as odd, Joe, Babe Ruth, I mean, I think was the epitome of arrogance of his day in the Roaring 20s, what have you. All of the players that have chased Babe Ruth, they're anything but arrogant. Roger Maris, as humble a man as you'd want to think. There was no boastful attitude about him. Mark McGwire's the same way, and so is Sammy Sosa. Every reason to smile.
The amazing thing to me about McGwire is as he's gotten closer to the record, he's loosened up and has had more and more fun. Talked to Tony La Russa before the game yesterday, and he said once McGwire hit 50, which you talked about his reaction at Shea Stadium, he no longer felt as if he didn't break the record, he didn't have a good year. So after he got to 50 and the numbers would really work toward this, he relaxed and the ball just started flying out of the ballpark. There was a stretch there between 40 and 50 where a lot of people wondered if the intense pressure was starting to get to him and wonder if he would set the record. Well, leadoff double. Now a ground ball to short on the bat of Boone, and Donovan Osborne successfully pitches around the double by Larkin. We go to the bottom of the 4th inning. Osborne, Lampkin, and Kelly coming up for the Cardinals, who lead by 4.
Insuring over 40 million people worldwide.
I guess I didn't know. I guess I didn't know. I guess I didn't know. I guess I didn't know.
Hey, Mr. Science, ever wonder what a hard-working engine goes through? It gets the high rev, and I drove over the mountain because it was there, crap kicked out of it. With abuse like that, you don't want to take chances. This is Quaker State 4x4, a synthetic blend for hard-working engines made by guys with more college degrees than they've had dates. It's been tested. For pure maximum protection, there's nothing better. I wouldn't lie to you. They're not paying me enough. Quaker State, sensible technology. What more do you need to know?
Now's the time to discover the great selection of all 1998 Oldsmobile cars and trucks available at Discover Days. Consider the Cutlass, winner of the AAA Top Car Award, or the 88, voted a Best Buy 8 years straight by Consumers Digest. Right now, get $1,250 cash back on Cutlass and $2,500 cash back on 88. Or get our lowest financing of the year at 0.9% on all 98 Oldsmobiles. Discover Days at your local Oldsmobile dealer now.
Need some ideas for your Labor Day weekend? Let's drink! Spend it in the 70s.
What is it with you young people in Colombo?
That 70s show tomorrow after The Simpsons on Fox.
Welcome back. Dennys Reyes on the mound, ready to go. First pitch to Donovan Osborne. His counterpart this afternoon is low and away for ball 1. Cardinals out in front here, 4-0. On a day in which this big crowd, capacity crowd in St. Louis, has been treated to home run number 60 by Mark McGwire. It's now 2-0 from Reyes to Osborne. McGwire due up 5th this inning in case the Cardinals get something working. You can keep that in the back of your mind. The 2-0 pitch, 3-0. That's about to happen if Reyes walks the pitcher leading off. The Reds are probably thinking to themselves, this is why we didn't pitch to this guy the last time we were in St. Louis.
We were right not doing that.
3-1. Interesting quotes by Felipe Alou, the manager of the Montreal Expos, saying that the Expos pitchers would pitch to him for the integrity of the game. That's up the middle and to the right. Brett Boone takes care of Osborne, 1 away. Osborne 0 for 2. Leadoff man is gone. We will answer our Aflac trivia question. There are 2 players eligible for the Hall of Fame that have hit 50 home runs and are not enshrined in the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown. Who are they? Our Aflac trivia answer. You knew them. Everybody knew half. Roger Maris and George Foster, who hit 52 in 1977 for the Reds. Lampkin out in front, pops it foul out of play right side. And, of course, Roger hit 61 in 1961 for the Yankees. Lampkin is 0 for 1. He is another one who is in the inner circle for McGwire. Kelly and Lampkin. A couple of high hops to Sean Casey, and Lampkin is gone. Let's send it down to Chip Carey, who's standing by with another Cardinal Hall of Famer.
You bet, Joe Buck. Thank you very much. The great Lou Brock is here. And first of all, your thoughts as Mark McGwire moves to 60. You played with Roger Maris. What would he have said about his accomplishment today?
Well, I think Roger Maris would be rooting for Mark McGwire, and he would certainly be sitting there with a smile on his face and saying, go for it. However, when it comes to facing the press, I think Roger would have said, you're on your own.
Now, as a former Cub and a former Cardinal, you've got McGwire and Sosa. Who are you rooting for to come up out on top this year?
Well, that's a no-brainer for me. I certainly got to root for Mark McGwire, although my roots beginning in baseball was with the Cubs. But nevertheless, Mark is here in St. Louis, and now he has that St. Louis Cardinals spirit, and we're just happy about it, and the fact that he can continue it and see these 2 guys pushing each other. I never thought that this year we'd see such a thing.
Lou Brock, one of my childhood heroes. Thanks for the visit, and enjoy the rest of the ball game.
Thank you.
Okay, Joe, back to you.
Thank you, Chip. Thank you, Lou. 2 out, nobody on, and a ball high to Kelly makes it 1-2. There's another gamer.
Oh. Number 2 in the stolen base record. Ricky Anderson, of course, way ahead of Lou now, but Lou held it back in 1974. And the interesting comparison with Lou Brock and Mark McGwire is that Lou Brock, and there he was, number 20, was much more typical a Cardinal player than Mark McGwire is. The Cardinals have only led the league in home runs 5 times in their history. 5.
Which is a glorious history. And you get a chance to hear from Lou Brock. Before the game, they honored Stan Musial with his 2nd statue here at Busch Stadium. They unveiled one for Bob Gibson earlier in the year, and those Hall of Famers who made their names here in St. Louis still hang around St. Louis, and for every event the Cardinals put on, they are here and they are a part of the event. So even the younger fans growing up here in St. Louis get a real taste for Cardinal tradition and history because those guys all come back.
There are some National League teams that are as storied in their history as the Cardinals, but none more so.
Here's a strike 3 called on a 3-2 pitch to Kelly, and Reyes has a 1-2-3 4th inning. To the 5th we go. It's a 4-0 Cardinal lead.
Race is heating up. Step up to the plate and play the Pepsi Major League Baseball Home Run Countdown. Go to in-store Pepsi displays, fill out an entry form, and if you guess the 98 Home Run Champions total, you'll be entered to win a trip aboard to this year's World Series.
People smile and tell me I'm the lucky one. And we've just begun. Think I'm gonna have a son. And in the morning when I rise, you bring a tear of joy to my eyes and tell me everything's gonna be alright.
Aflac, insuring over 40 million people worldwide.
Life on land is dry. It's time to escape. Get wet. Eat with your hands. Dip, splash, crack, and and taste seafood as fresh as the sea itself. At Red Lobster, because life on land is dry.
I was driving cross country on the way to my first job, just out of college. I had hardly any money. Yeah, that's when my car starts making this weird noise. I saw a Firestone store with MasterCare car service. So I had them check it out, and guess what? They found the problem and even suggested a way to fix it that saved me money when I needed it most. I'll never forget that.
Let's go. Split them up. MasterCare means we guarantee to fix it right or your money back.
MasterCare at Firestone. Just what your car needs.
Sosa, McGwire, the stretch run for 61. We are there. Fox Sports News, weeknights. Check local listings.
Well, tonight the police respond to a call and find the suspect right under their nose on cops. Then he came to work armed and dangerous. Now he's wanted by the FBI. America's Most Wanted. America Fights Back. It all starts tonight, 8 Eastern, 7 Central here on Fox. Underway as Donovan Osborne hits the strike zone with his first pitch to Chris Steins. 4-0 St. Louis. Steins, ooh, that hit somebody standing next to Tony La Russa. Ooh. Right in the head. Barry Weinberg, the Cardinal trainer, is right there, and that was hot, bouncing into the Cardinal dugout. Oh, 0-2 on Steins. Out front this time, and it remains 0-2. Donovan Osborne has allowed only one hit, a leadoff double to Larkin in the 4th inning. Did a great job to get around that. A 2-out walk handed out in the top of the 1st inning to Sean Casey. He got around that. Osborne doesn't get that pitch. It's 1-2. The opposite way and into right field for another leadoff hit for the Reds. Off the bat of Steins, who came in hitting .256.
That guy standing next to Chris Steins, by the way, the guy who just hit his 60th home run in the 1st inning, a 2-run shot. Compare the sizes of those two.
That's the treat you get when you get a hit. Go stand and talk to Mark McGwire for a minute.
There are a lot of people that look up to McGwire, but none more so than opposing base runners.
Here's Aaron Boone, a .287 hitter. Looks like he's going to be a good player. 1 on, nobody out, and a ball low. A squirter foul, 1-1.
3 generations of Boones have played Major League Baseball. Ray Boone, the granddaddy of the Boone family, and then Bob Boone, and Bob's 2 sons, Aaron Boone and Brett Boone. Other 3-generation family, Buddy Bell, and Gus Bell, Buddy Bell, and now David Bell, recently sent down with Cleveland Indians the other day, and Buddy Bell fired the other day as the manager of the Detroit Tigers. And interestingly, after 461 games, Buddy Bell had a losing record, 184 and 277. Remarkably, that is the exact record that Joe Torre, who has been lauded and should be as the manager of the Yankees, had after his first 3 seasons, after his first 461 games. He had the exact record that Buddy Bell had with Detroit. So Buddy Bell could land on his feet somewhere else and be a successful manager.
Runner goes in a 3-1 pitch. It's fouled, and it'll have to come back. To me, it hit a bad note with me when I heard that Buddy Bell got fired.
Me too. Me too.
He is a wonderful guy. I thought he did a good job with that Detroit club. They're still undermanned. And to have unrealistic expectations and let a good man get away and fire him, it seems wrong to me. But, you know, that's happened throughout the history of this sport and other sports. But I think that Buddy Bell will end up somewhere else and will be a very, very good manager. He had the respect of his players, which in this day and age, let's face it, with these athletes making the money that they are making, to me, the most important job of a manager is to get your players to play for you and believe in you. Forget the pitching changes and the back. To me, it hit a bad note with me when I heard that Buddy Bell got fired.
Me too. Me too.
He is a wonderful guy. I thought he did a good job with that Detroit club. They're still undermanned. And to have unrealistic expectations and let a good man get away and fire him, it seems wrong to me. But, you know, that's happened throughout the history of this sport and other sports. But I think that Buddy Bell will end up somewhere else and will be a very, very good manager. He had the respect of his players, which in this day and age, let's face it, with these athletes making the money that they are making, to me, the most important job of a manager is to get your players to play for you and believe in you. Forget the pitching changes and the double switches and all that junk. As Boone pops it up behind second base for the first out of the inning. So David Bell gets traded to Seattle for Joey Cora, and 2 days later, his dad gets fired. That's a bad week in the Bell family. The good news for the Bell family is Buddy's wife, who had been very ill a couple of years ago, stricken with cancer, is making a wondrous recovery and really doing well. And that's the most important part of the Bell family. 1 on, 1 out for Brooke Fordyce. That's into right center for Jordan. Such a good center fielder, although Langford's usually out there, 2 out. And as we get down to the number 9 spot in the order, Melvin Nieves will come off the bench and bat for Dennys Reyes. So when McGwire comes to the plate in the bottom of this 5th inning, he will be facing a new pitcher, and it looks like the left-hander Krivda. Nieves comes up empty. They had Krivda warming up earlier. Now they have Remlinger getting ready out in the Cincinnati bullpen. So Remlinger now getting loose, and getting loose in a hurry, as with 2 outs, the Reds pinch hit for Reyes. One ball, 1 strike from Donovan Osborne, trying to fly through 5. Stein's a leadoff hit. He hasn't moved from first. Just as Larkin last inning, a leadoff double, he never moved from second. That's strike 2 on Nieves. It wouldn't take much for the Reds to jump back into this game if Nieves could connect. He's hit 2 home runs this year. Well, the numbers for Reyes, 4 innings, 4 runs on 5 hits, but the only number that'll be remembered, 60. Giving up home run number 60 to McGwire in the first. 2-2 on Nieves. One on, 2 out, the 2-2 pitch. Got him with a changeup down and away. Nieves is gone. We're halfway through it. Just to whet your appetite. Mark McGwire coming up. That's what he did in the first. Home run number 60. He'll now face Remlinger. That's second in the 5th for the Cardinals.
Well, it seems since MCI's arrival, everyone's lives have become easier. Why, just the other day, I saw our telecom manager smile for the first time in I don't know how long. And because we've combined all our communications with MCI, we've saved the company a lot of money, making even our normally subdued CFO somewhat happier.
Every man has a mountain to climb.
Part of Siberia is he from, anyway?
Krebs, what are you doing shooting?
Krebs, you're here to rebound. Just stay out of the way.
Yo, coach, you gotta get this Krebs guy out of here. Krebs. K, out of N, Ben. I know how to spell. I'm from here. Man, you are terrible, terrible.
You want to get somewhere, then work it, then work it, then work it.
What mountain did you climb today? What beer was there at the top?
Buy your beer. Okay. I have Coors Light. That's C-O-O-R-S.
Coors Light, Frost Brewed, Rocky Mountain Cold.
Fox Saturday Baseball Game of the Week, brought to you by MCI 5-cent Sundays. Pay the least on the day you call the most. By Coors Light, Frost Brewed to tap the clean taste of the Rockies. By Aflac, insuring over 40 million people worldwide. And by Tylenol, take comfort in our strength.
A jam-packed Busch Stadium on a hot, hot day in September. September the 5th. It'll be John Mabry, Mark McGwire, and Brian Jordan for the Cardinals against the new left-hander, Remlinger.
Mike 7-14 on the year, and his second batter, and I'm sure he's thinking about it right now, will be Mark McGwire. By the way, Brett Tomko, there's Mark on deck. Brett Tomko, the right-hander, the young right-hander for the Reds, will be the starter tomorrow afternoon at 4 o'clock Eastern time, and we will carry it.
Mabry takes a strike over the inside corner. Mabry wouldn't chase it. 1 ball, 1 strike. John Mabry started the day hitting .259, and he got the hit in front of McGwire's 60th home run of the year. Little flare into shallow left. Dimitri Young is there. 1 up, 1 down. We would like to welcome those of you who have been watching the Atlanta Braves and the New York Mets. Mark McGwire in the first inning hit a 2-run home run to hit 60 home runs, tying the former record, which was held for 34 years by Babe Ruth. He's 1 away from tying Roger Maris. Bases empty, 1 out. And a swing and a miss for strike 1. McGwire has hit a 2-run homer and struck out his next time, now facing Remlinger for the first time today. Strike 2. Remlinger's come right after him.
With high fastballs, similar to the way Pete Harnish, the right-hander, pitched Mark McGwire last night. A bevy of balls above the waist.
On 0-2, McGwire strikes out 3 consecutive pitches from the left-hander. 2 out. McGwire's 1 for 3.
Remlinger going up the ladder to McGwire. Fastball high, check swing. Fastball full swing. Fastball full swing. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night.
And we've said it before, but it's worth repeating. Mark McGwire benefits from the new interpretation, if you want to put it that way, of the strike zone by today's umpire. The pitch belt high is no longer a strike, and McGwire is about as deadly a low ball hitter as you'll find. Here's Jordan with 2 out, nobody on, and a breaking ball for a strike from Remlinger. Two out, nobody on, and Jordan strike 2. Remlinger working on a perfect inning. 2. Two out, nobody on. The 1-2 pitch is popped into right. Should do it for the Cardinals in the 5th. Good work by Remlinger. Steins puts it away, and we have played 5. Into the 6th inning here in St. Louis. Cardinals take the field behind Osborne, leading by 4.
Daddy, watch me.
Daddy's got a headache.
Don't worry, little one. Daddy's got Tylenol for his headache, the most trusted combination of strength and safety in pain relief today. And Tylenol works without stomach irritation, so before you know it...
May I have this dance?
Daddy's going to be right as rain. Tylenol. Take comfort in our strength.
We argue all the time as to who has the better lawn.
They're all envious of my Scott lawn, definitely.
Scotts does it for all 3 of us.
Now, during the summer, my grass takes a beating.
A heavy sun, droughts.
What the grass needs is turf builder.
About September, I put on a turf builder.
It pumps it up, it rejuvenates it.
Gives it that extra punch for the roots.
You gotta feed it.
Beautiful. It's beautiful lawn. Look at that.
Look at thick.
Nice and green.
It's thick, it's flush. Fall is the best time of year to put down Scott's turf builder.
If I had a computer like at school, you could frame my report card.
He just wants games.
Biology would be a breeze.
Games.
Get ready for school with YourWare. Call 1-800-GATEWAY, and we'll custom build your kids a PC with an Intel Pentium 2 processor and educational software to help them with their homework. All for just $56 a month.
What? This is my homework.
Go back to school with YourWare from Gateway.
This is the Midas Gold Muffler. It comes with a Midas lifetime warranty, and it's now just $49.95, $69.95 for select imports. Let's review. Midas Gold Muffler, lifetime warranty, $49.95. Hurry, the price of gold has never been lower.
How do you get this equipment to these troops when there's a river between them? Build a bridge. Problem solving. You need it now in college. Learn it now in the Army Reserve.
All that you can be. On King of the Hill season premiere, who's gonna die?
Will there be food at the funeral?
The season's biggest secret will be revealed. Fox Tuesday at 8, 7 Central.
We move to the 6th inning here in St. Louis, a historic day, a 4-0 Cardinal lead. Mark McGwire hit home run number 60 in the 1st inning, and Donovan Osborne heads back to work. He will deal with the top of the order for Cincinnati, Sanders, Larkin, and Casey. And that's ball 1 from Osborne. We are very pleased to be joined by Kevin Hallinan, Executive Director of Security and Facility Management of Major League Baseball. And Kevin, as Sanders lines it into left field, right at Gant, 1 up, 1 down. You've got your hands full, sir, because anytime you talk about $1 million for a souvenir, there is a major security risk for whoever comes up with that souvenir.
Well, that's true, Joe, but I think we've certainly put a pretty good plan in place here with the Cardinal personnel to make sure that, you know, it stays positive, even when it goes into the stand.
The amazing thing that Tim and I were talking about, Mark McGwire seemingly, and we interviewed the young man who caught number 60 today, will get the last 5 home run balls back that he has hit. And while everybody expects all this greed or people with dollar signs on their pupils, it hasn't happened. They're willing to give the ball back, and for the most part, these people have been able to get out of the seats without injury. Do you worry about what happens when you get to 61 and 62?
Yeah, we do, but I think that the fans have reacted so positively, and I think, you know, we have a thing called ticket discipline in those areas where we think he's going to hit it. So we try and create an environment before the fact.
What about the authenticity issue? What have you done to make sure that the ball is authentic?
Tim, do you have top secret clearance?
I do. If you tell us, you'll have to.
Yeah. You got it.
Okay.
We have worked over the past couple of weeks with different people, in fact, some actually from law enforcement, to discover a tagging procedure so that we have a number of identifying marks on this ball without obstructing it in any way or creating anything that's going to affect the ball in flight to make sure that we can have the right ball. We were concerned initially about somebody catching the ball and just walking out of the ballpark and 3 months later, like a lottery ticket, walking in and say, this is the ball. And with our particular tagging, we can identify that ball if he came in 10 years later.
And it is done by a hypersensitive, super top secret, double probation method.
For sure.
Okay, that's all you're going to give us, right? You're not going to give. I mean, I'll be honest with you. Down on the field yesterday, a lot of the print reporters were talking about infrared. So if that's the secret, at least that part of the secret is out. If that's the situation.
Well, I think somebody probably could see maybe one of the tagging marks, but as I said, there's a series, and you would not come up with all of them. That's for sure.
Well, we have a one-out walk handed to Barry Larkin. He is on for Sean Casey and Kevin Hallinan. I know that you are very busy and you are working with the people right now in St. Louis, and if the record is not broken, as the Cardinals make their trip through the National League, Casey bounces into a 4-6-3 double play, which is the perfect opportunity to say thanks for joining us and enjoy the rest of this historic day.
Thank you.
That's Kevin Hallinan. We'll be back. Bottom of the 6th inning, 4-0 Cardinals.
It's a hot one, sports fans, as the Alligators host the Octopi. Now, lineups.
Get him a beer. No, Zima.
Before it cracks, before it peels, before it stains, before it mildews, always use Zinsser first to prevent trouble before it has a chance to start. Zinsser, primers, finishes, wall covering products, and mildew-proof paints. So never ever start without Zinsser first.
The tallest mountain in North America is 20,320 feet. Cool.
Who's gonna break Maris's mark and hit 62 out of the park? The race is on. Keep your eyes on the ball. McGwire, Sosa, Griffey. They've got their eyes on the ball. Baseball history is in the making. Who's going to crush 62 before the season is through? It could happen at a ballpark near you. Don't miss a home run. Don't miss a minute. Keep pace with the race. Log on to MajorLeagueBaseball.com.
Ron Gant will lead off at the bottom of the 6th inning for the Cardinals. It'll be Gant, Tatis, or Daz. Anybody gets on, Donovan Osborne. The pitcher who is toiling in obscurity here this afternoon, doing a great job pitching a 2-hit shutout at the moment through 6. And Gant, the former Red, he really has good feelings deep, deep down about the Cincinnati Reds, who gave him an opportunity after that terrible motorcycle accident when he broke his leg. The Reds were the team that signed him to a pretty substantial offer to play and get back on track. And for that, I know there were some disagreements later, but Ron Gant is very appreciative. 0-2 the count on Ron, who is sitting 229.
To Donovan Osborne, toiling in obscurity. He's not the only one toiling in obscurity on this famous weekend, perhaps, in St. Louis. 60th home run today.
Gant goes the other way. Throw that ball out of play. It's a leadoff base hit to Ron Gant, for Ron Gant, who rarely goes to the right side of second base. For a Coors Light game break, back to John Walls in the Fox Television Center.
All right, Joe, let's go to Shea Stadium where the Mets and the Braves are hooking up today. Top of the 5th, Andrew Jones
breaks up a scoreless game in a big way off of Bobby Jones, his 26th, and the Braves led 1-0. But in the bottom of the inning, John Olerud with a big swing, a 2-run blast off of Kevin Millwood. It's 2-1 Mets in the 5th. Joe?
Thank you, John. Here it's 1 on, nobody out, and it's a 4-0 Cardinal lead. So the Mets are doing it again as they go head-to-head with the Atlanta Braves, and the Mets come in 1 game behind Chicago in the National League's wild card race. The Cubs, as Tim told you, face a rookie, Sean Lawrence, pitching for the Pirates tonight at Three Rivers.
Big hit for John Olerud of the Mets, who was 4 points behind Larry Walker of the Colorado Rockies in the National League batting race before this afternoon's action.
Tatis is 1 for 2 with an RBI single back in the first. He struck out in the third. Here's the 2-0. Playable for the right side of the infield, and boom. He's committed just 5 errors this year. Puts it away. 1 on, 1 out. Well, don't forget, as we talk baseball, tomorrow it's the premiere of Fox NFL Sunday, a big day on Fox. Most of you will see the Lions taking on the Packers, the Redskins, and the Giants, plus other regional action. It all starts at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, with a pregame show live from Giant Stadium. They're on location with Terry, Howie, JB, and Chris Collinsworth as we officially welcome him to the Fox family. That's tomorrow on Fox, and then we will come at you 4 o'clock Eastern with the finale of this weekend series between the Cardinals and the Reds, and another batch of McGwire at bats. 1 on, 1 out for Luis Ordaz. Double play ball. Boone gets it, flips it, so good. Inning over. A leadoff hit. Ordaz bounces into the double play. Fox Sports, home of the 1998 World Series, will return to St. Louis after a break from your local station.
You're watching Fox, home of the 1998 World Series.
One question I get a lot is about this up here. Is it real? And looking at some of the old advertising, I can see why you'd wonder. Well, it's real. Just like when I say we carry suits by many of the same designers as department stores, but for 20 to 30% less. That's real, too. As real as, well, you know what.
The Men's Warehouse.
You're going to like the way you look. I guarantee it.
1-800-776-SUIT.
It's the Battle of the Bays, and you can be there on game day. Stop by Potawatomi Bingo and Casino and register for a chance to win 2 tickets to the Green Bay Tampa game on September 13th at Lambeau Field, and qualify for a chance to win the grand prize, an all-expense-paid weekend for 2, including airfare, hotel, and tickets for 2 to the Green Bay Tampa game in Florida on December 7th. The Battle of the Bays. Register to win today at Potawatomi Bingo Casino. Brought to you by Fox 6 and America's Pack.
At Blaine's Farm and Fleet, you'll find a hardware store within our store. Right now, when you buy a 4-pack of 10 exposure 600 high-definition Polaroid film for $39.99, you'll receive the Polaroid Job Pro camera free with manufacturer rebate offer. Farm and Fleet has Thorson ratchets. Choose from a 3/8-inch drive reversible stubby ratchet or a 2-piece finger ratchet set. Your choice, $5.99. And pick up a 3M 4-inch metal painted rust stripper. It's just $3.99. Find value at Blaine's Farm and Fleet.
What the Cooks asked for was a second mortgage. What they needed was a second chance. Our Back on Track plan helped get them both. It refinanced their home, paid off their credit cards and car loan, all at a lower monthly payment. Their interest rate even went down when they made their payments on time. So in addition to giving them the money they needed, our Back on Track plan helped them rebuild their credit step by step. That's what the money store is all about, getting you back on track one step at a time.
The Blitz is on. Sunday night at 10:35 on Fox 6.
Well, this game summary is brought to you by Toyota. Mark McGwire hits number 60 in the first inning, which ties the old record held by Babe Ruth from 1927 until 1961. The Cardinals get 4 runs on 4 hits in the first inning, and Donovan Osborne putting together one of his best efforts here this afternoon, and why not, with the eyes of the world watching. Good day to pitch well. 7th inning, and Dimitri Young up the middle. Pat Kelly has time. Good arm, 1 out. Let's throw it back to Steve Lyons. Hello, Steve.
Thanks, Joe. I'm sitting right here with Kim Wilson, and Kim, 60 home runs hit by Mark McGwire. You're in a pretty good location to catch one. Have you ever got one?
No, I haven't. The one Sunday night, number 55, came about 6 feet from me, but I wasn't in my seat. I was up walking around.
Why didn't you dive for it or something? What do you mean walking around?
There were about 15 people piled on, and I said, I'm not risking a limb for it. Not number 55. 62, I'll do it.
Hey, the recent trend now is that guys are giving the balls back. Everyone's talking about how much money these are worth. If you get number 62, it might be worth $1 million. What do you do with it?
I give it back because of what McGwire has given to the city of St. Louis, baseball fans in general. He's given me memories and things that I'll never, ever see in my lifetime again. That's not worth $1 million, and the opportunity to meet him, that's worth it.
All right, hey, that's a good answer. Hey, these guys out here are going to have a lot of fun. Back to you guys up in the booth.
All right, Steve. Well, our poll, which is hot in the news these days, is coming up. I will give the ball back to him just about every time, although I don't know if on national television, if I'm asked at this point, I say, oh, I take the $1 million and run. I don't know if anybody would be that honest. No. I think it's a different story if you're the one that gets it. Steins into right field. Mabry back to get it. I almost said McGwire back to get it. I've got McGwire on the brain, and so do these fans here in St. Louis and across the country. Bottom of the 7th inning. Time to stretch. 4-0 Cardinals.
Hey, you got a quarter?
Out of cash? Did you know if you use 1-800-CALL-ATT for collect calls, you pay the same low rate 24 hours a day, anywhere, anytime? There's no restrictions, and it's the guaranteed cheap way to make collect calls. That's great, right? Use 1-800-CALL-ATT for collect calls. CALLATT. CALLATT.
I got it.
6 yards of hunter green, 2 yards of gold, stick pins, heavy-duty thread, and some of those iron-on transfers.
To lots of different places, you get lots of different prices.
Send your packages in 2 days with UPS to lots of different places, you get lots of different prices.
Send your packages in 2 to 3 days with priority mail to lots of different places. You get the same price. You know, $3.
So, what's your priority? Priority mail from the U.S. Postal Service.
Well, folks, the New York Yankees are gearing up for the playoffs, and tonight on FX, Derek Jeter and Bernie Williams lead the Yankees into the Windy City, where Albert Bell, who has been on a tear, looks to continue tearing it up in the second half. It's the Yankees and White Sox tonight, starting at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on FX. And then, of course, for the complete story on the race for 62, watch Fox Sports News. Our friends on the cable side at 10 p.m. on your local Fox Cable Network. Donovan Osborne, strike one, and he has had a marvelous game here this afternoon. He's doing the defensive work. McGwire has, along with help, provided the offense for the Cardinals. 1 ball, 1 strike from Remlinger.
It is almost a disservice to the other National League and American League players that are having remarkable years. Greg Vaughn with the San Diego Padres leading the majors in total bases, extra base hits. He hit 2 balls on Tuesday night. I was telling you before the game, Joe, I did that game out in San Diego, the Padres against the Mets. He hit it off Hideo Nomo. It was the hardest hit ball that I've seen in the last 5 years.
His story is remarkable.
Unbelievable.
Nobody remembers that he was traded to the New York Yankees, flunked the physical, and sent back to San Diego. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Osborne is gone, and he is 0 for 3 and only 1 out of 20 on the year.
By the way, we have talked several times today about the $1 million bid for ball number 62. And the story is compelling. An anonymous donor, this was reported not only in the New York Times today, but in the St. Louis Post-Dispatch also. An anonymous donor is offered to pay $1 million to the fan who catches the 62nd home run ball by Mark McGwire or Sammy Sosa to help in the continuing search for justice in the 1980 murders of 3 American nuns and a lay worker in El Salvador. This is quoted from the anonymous donor. I want to raise awareness, and what better way to publicize the cause than to tie it in with the home run derby. I hope when sportscasters talk about the money, they'll also talk about the case, and we've done our duty along those lines.
Mission accomplished for him.
Man.
Lampkin drilled the arm or wrist or hand, and he is at first with 1 out. That sounded painful as it caught him near the wrist or hand.
Even though it was not flush, you could see how Tom turned, but it sounded flush, didn't it? Whew.
That sounded awful.
Unfortunately, catchers are used to those things.
Ball 1 down and in as Lampkin. It'd be tough to come out of this game, wouldn't it? I mean, you want to be in that lineup front to back on a day like this.
To get a crane to drag you out of a game like this. You kidding?
I know my wrist is on the ground, but I want to stay in. That replay with the audio, it sounded like the ball hit the bat. That's how crisp it was. 2-0 the count on Kelly. 1 on, 1 out. And now 3-0, and we start to think about McGwire with Mabry on deck, and then McGwire lurking in the dugout. Three balls, no strikes. Right down the chute to Pat Kelly.
Mentioned earlier, Pat Kelly, Mark McGwire's best buddy. I wouldn't be surprised to see him take again, trying to get on first base with the possibility of the bases being loaded when McGwire comes up.
Kelly, a pretty good swing there on 3-1. It was a strike, 1 after it, full count, 3-2. John Hudek, the hard-throwing right-hander, cranking it up for the Reds out in their bullpen. Maybe with thoughts of McGwire. Kelly up now, the left-handed Mabry on deck, and then the right-handed McGwire. 1 on, 1 out. Kelly fouls it right back here. Pat Kelly grew up as a Major League Baseball player in Yankee Stadium, which is about as thrilling a place as you can play. He says this atmosphere around here as he draws the walk is unlike anything he has ever seen for his best buddy McGwire. 2 on, 1 out for John Mabry.
The New York Yankees have collectively, almost collectively, done what McGwire's done this year. They've already won 100 ball games. I say almost because I do want to qualify that. But I think that McGwire and Sosa, and this is a point to be made, in my opinion, are taking a lot of the heat away from the Yankees and will allow the Yankees going into postseason with not all the attention on the year that they're having, but more attention on Sosa and McGwire, and will allow the Yankees perhaps to relax a little more when they get in postseason play.
A breaking ball is a strike from the left-hander Remlinger to Mabry with 2 on, 1 out. John is 1 out of 3 today. Mabry checked his swing, 1-1. Along with taking some of the pressure away, a lot of people talk about that with regard to Sosa for McGwire. And I compare it to the game of golf. When you're paired up with a guy who can play, you step up your game.
Absolutely.
When you're paired up with a guy who can't, you tend to play down to your competition. And I think that not only has it taken some of the media focus away from McGwire, but it has many times, 19 times, have homered on the same day. It's made McGwire maybe a notch better, maybe a notch more intense. 2 balls and a strike on Mabry. That's trouble. Down the left field line. It's going to fall for a hit. Lampkin rounds third, heads to the plate. It's an RBI double for Mabry, which is good for the Cardinals, might be bad for McGwire. With first base open, 1 out. Here is that spot that Jack McKeon talks about. They could pitch around McGwire. Well, Tim, we'd like to welcome those of you who have been watching the Atlanta Braves and the New York Mets. We're going to have a double switch here, which will give people around here more time to wonder if they are standing in anticipation of a McGwire at bat, only to watch him draw an intentional walk.
I think this is to Jack McKeon's credit if he's going to bring the right-hander in to pitch to McGwire instead of allowing the left-hander to walk him. Because under normal circumstances, you'd have to walk him, but these are anything but normal circumstances. I think with Hudek coming in the game, I think you'll pitch to him.
If they intentionally walk McGwire, as we said in the open, this place might come down.
He has not been intentionally walked since August the 8th.
We'll come back. Hudek against McGwire, maybe.
This is the Midas Gold Muffler. It comes with a Midas lifetime warranty, and it's now just $49.95, $69.95 for select imports. Let's review. Midas Gold Muffler, lifetime warranty, $49.95. Hurry, the price of gold has never been lower.
Son, your mother and I have to talk to you.
It's important.
Marijuana. The wacky weed, it is bad. Of this I know, believe your dad. Remember this, it's your decision, but marijuana can lead to prison.
Any way you choose to talk with your kids about drugs is a good way. Call for your free brochure.
Ship your package in 2 days with FedEx. And you'll run into 7 different price zones.
Ship your package in 2 days with UPS. And you'll run into 7 different price zones.
Ship your package in 2 to 3 days with priority mail. And there's just 1 price zone.
So, what's your priority? Priority mail from the U.S. Postal Service.
On October 2nd, it's beautiful. Take all you know about adventure and magnify it. Run! DreamWorks Pictures presents...
Don't you want your 8-bit beer?
I have a thing about drinking from the caboose of another creature.
And rated PG.
It's late in the 4th quarter. And the announcer can't see it. And the fans can't see it. But I can. I can see it in their eyes. They're getting tired.
Only 61 away from the record. Ally McBeal, season premiere Monday, September 14th.
In the double switch, Pat Watkins takes over in right field, and now pitching John Hudek, and it looks like they'll pitch to him, which backs up what you said as they bring in the right-hander.
I think this gives Jack McKeon a way out in this ball game, and this is back to Mark McGwire.
Now we'll have to wait and see if he gets anything to hit, but there's no intentional pass here to McGwire, who has walked 146 times in 1998 and hit 60 home runs. Second and third, 1 out, and there's a strike. It's 1-1.
McGwire has struck out on high fastballs twice, and Hudek has a good high fastball.
Here's the 1-1. That had a wrinkle on it outside, 2-1. McGwire has hit a 2-run homer, struck out in his next 2 at-bats. 8 multi-home run games this season for McGwire. Second and third, 1 out. Over the outside corner, McGwire looks back, doesn't say anything. It's 2-2. Home plate umpire, Larry Poncino. The runners. Kelly and Mabry aboard with 1 out for Big Mac. 3-2. Will Hudak challenge McGwire on 3-2? Good pitch, and McGwire spoiled it to stay alive.
Slider on the outside corner, foul back by Mark McGwire.
I'm sure John Hudak won't allow himself the thought. You would think the guy would wonder if every time he lets the ball go, if it's going to result in home run, in this case, number 61.
He hasn't pitched like that. He's made some nasty pitches on McGwire.
Second and third, 1 out. A full count on Mark McGwire. Got him for the third consecutive time. Hudak came after him. McGwire 1 out of 4 for the day. And they've been getting him out up.
They didn't start him out up, however. They started him out with the slider low and away. And now Hudak threads the corner. The 1-1 pitch was close. The 2-1 pitch was there, and now he misses. McGwire fouls back the 3-2 pitch, and now the high rider gets him. Good job by John Hudak.
So second and third with 2 out. As Brian Jordan walks in, Jordan is 1 out of 2 with a double, a walk, and a run scored. Boy, the dynamic will really change after the Cincinnati series if the home run record has not fallen by then. The Reds, who are completely out of the race, will give way to the Cubs, who are leading the wild card chase. And if any team has a reason not to come after McGwire in certain situations, it would be the Chicago Cubs. Not only are they in it, Jimmy, but they have Sosa on their side, who's battling McGwire for the home run record.
Yeah, and what if the Cardinals decide, for the sake of Mark McGwire, not to come after Sammy Sosa, and in doing so, perhaps change the course of one of those 2 games or both of those games? What is a team like the New York Mets and the San Francisco Giants, who are still very much in the running of the wild card race? What are they to think?
Hard throwing right-hander Danny Graves. Now loosening for the Reds out in their bullpen. The 1-2 to Jordan. That's down the right field line. A ton of trouble. Watkins can't get there, and 2 runs will score. The Cardinals have blown it wide open, and Jordan is chugging for 3. 7-0 Cardinals in the 7th.
Pat Watkins, the new right fielder, mishandled this ball down in the corner. And Brian Jordan going to third instead of to second. The Cincinnati Reds had beaten the Cardinals 10 straight times. 7 this year, 3 the last 3 times they faced them last year. So the Cardinals were due to break out.
It has scored a 2-run triple for Jordan. No double and error for Watkins, as he had trouble with it to his left.
I guess to wrap up the thought that we just completed, Joe, the integrity of the game could very much come into play on Monday and Tuesday when Sosa and the Cubs come to town.
2-0 the count on Gant, who this afternoon has walked and scored, flied out, singled, and been involved in a double play. There's the race. 60 for McGwire, 57 for Sosa. His Cubs take on the Pirates tonight in Pittsburgh. 3-0 to Gant with Tatis on deck. Just so you know, the pitching matchups the rest of the way, the rest of this homestand for the Cardinals, which will end Tuesday night. Gant was flat out pitched around right there, it looked like. Especially after Hudak fell behind. Second walk of the inning, first handed out by Hudek. By the way, you can charge 3 runs this inning to Remlinger. The pitching matchups tomorrow, which we will carry for you on Fox starting at 4 o'clock Eastern. Darren Oliver against Brett Tomko. On Monday afternoon, it's Mike Morgan against Matt Morris. Morgan is back with Chicago. And then on Tuesday night, which we hope to have for you here on Fox, and will if the home run record hasn't been broken, Ken Merker and Steve Traxel. Strike 1 on Tatis.
Mike Morgan is the worst type of pitcher that the Cubs could throw at the Cardinals, because to be effective, he's got to stay down in the strike zone. And as we've mentioned more than once today, McGwire, a lethal low ball hitter.
Here's the 0-1. Tatis fouls it back for strike 2. McGwire hits the 60 plateau this afternoon. I get a chance to watch this guy day after day after day, and just about every shot of him in the dugout is like that, with his head down thinking. Thinking about his last at-bat, thinking about his next at-bat and what he wants to do. So often, Tim, he gets shots of guys in the dugout, and the last thing they're thinking about, it looks like, is baseball. They're messing around, joking around, flicking sunflower seeds, talking to fans, camera people. Not McGwire. Here's the 1-2 to Tatis with first and third. 2 out. Struck him out over the inside corner. Pitch backed up on Hudek, and he loved it. But the Cardinals love the inning. McGwire strikes out. The Cards come up with 3 and lead by 7.
My most priceless moment was Kirk Gibson hitting that home run to win that first game of the '88 World Series. You're listening on the radio, you know, and they're saying he can't run. And you're just going, oh, I hope he hits a home run, or you just knew something was going to happen. It was just so much electricity in the air. And then when he hit it, that was probably the greatest thing I've ever seen. It just gives you that, you know, the chills. And we were there.
One official Major League Baseball, $9. New ball, $9. New ball, $9. New ball, new ball, new ball, $9. New windshield, $100. 62, priceless. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. Official card of Major League Baseball and believer that records were made to be broken.
Zima.
Cool. Zima.
I don't fear anyone in the NFL. But maybe there's somebody else out there, pushing himself to be stronger and more powerful than I am. Somebody who thinks he can stop me all by himself. You're not the one, are you?
Tomorrow on Fox, be a part of baseball's greatest journey as one man enters the annals of legend. It's a special edition of Fox Saturday Baseball, 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific.
There's your line score, with the Cardinals leading by 7 as we move to the 8th inning, and Donovan Osborne is rolling. He has faced only 1 over the minimum since the end of the 4th inning, and that will continue as Aaron Boone lines it to short, caught by Ordaz, 1 away. It is an absolute thrill to be here at this ballpark today, with thoughts of, well, what could happen later on in this game, although those possibilities are limited. The Cardinals, with this big lead, will have only 1 more at bat. McGwire's way down the line. The thoughts of what could come tomorrow. 1 ball, no strikes on Brooke Fordyce. 1 out, nobody on, and 1-1.
You just think of the numbers of people that Mark McGwire has made happy this year, and perhaps the 9 people that he's made the happiest. The 9 guys that were drafted ahead of Mark McGwire back in 1984. McGwire was the 10th player chosen in the country. There were 9 players drafted ahead of Mark that year. And the Mets had the first pick. They picked Sean Abner, Billy Swift, the right-hander who's now with Seattle, Drew Hall of the Cubs, left-handed pitcher, Corey Snyder of Cleveland, a shortstop. Pat Pasillo, the Reds, passed on McGwire. They picked the right-hander, Pat Pasillo, and then Eric Pappas, the catcher for the Angels.
Until the Cardinals selected Dunn, Minnesota Bell, and San Francisco Alan Cockrell. A Coors Light game break. Back to John Walls in the Fox Television Center.
Well, Joe, at Shea Stadium, Bobby Jones got himself in a jam in the bottom of the 6th. Bases juice for Greg Colbrin. Tony Phillips is back. Can't come up with the baseball. Loses his glove, too. 2 runs come across. It's 4-2 Braves in the 6th, Joe.
So Atlanta back out in front. Thank you, John. So both of these teams and the Cubs, who have so surpassed on McGwire in that draft, June draft of 1984. 1 ball, 1 strike. Two out, nobody on for Watkins. That's right down the middle. Strike 2 from Osborne, who might have his best outing of the year here today. Osborne does not have a complete game in 1998. To his left, Kelly boots it, and Watkins is on to keep the inning alive. That'll be an error. Well, tomorrow, Mark McGwire and the Cardinals on a special edition. Fox Saturday Baseball becomes Fox Sunday Baseball. After early football, you can tune in the Reds and the Cardinals, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific, and it'll be Darren Oliver against Brett Tomko, who so far Tomko has been able to keep his name off that man's list. We'll see if he continues that tomorrow. 1 on, 2 out. Reggie Sanders takes ball 1. Osborne has thrown only 86 pitches, so he's done it economically, and his last complete game came in the season of 1996. Here's a little flare into right. That ball is going to drop for a hit, an error, and a hit. 2 on, 2 out. As Mabry throws in behind Watkins.
Joe, with the exception of postseason play, round ball rarely shares the air with oval ball.
You got it. I read your comments the other day, and I agree. I mean, the football season, the curtain is coming up, and while everybody has enormous expectations and high hopes for this upcoming football season, right now the focus is on baseball and what Mark McGwire is doing. That will change, and it'll change in a hurry. But folks watching baseball in 1998 are watching history, it would appear, as Mark McGwire is 1 away from tying the record and 2 from a new single-season home run mark. 2 on, 2 out, and a strike to Barry Larkin. 47,994. The paid attendance here this afternoon. They've packed this ballpark, and 47,994 will be able to say they were there. 2 on, 2 out, and the 0-1 pitch to Larkin. 1-1.
What an afternoon this is going to be for the St. Louis downtown area tomorrow. There are going to be over 100,000 sports fans going to 2 different games. St. Louis Rams are opening against the New Orleans Saints, and of course the Cardinals and Reds play. What a day.
2 on, 2 out. The 1-1 to Larkin is low. 2-1, and Robbie Knievel is making a death-defying motorcycle jump out at the Spirit of St. Louis Airport.
I have read that.
Tomorrow afternoon.
So it wouldn't be a good day to be getting out of town anyway, right?
Blue Angels will be doing their thing out there. What a day. 2 on, 2 out, the 2-1 pitch. That's off the end of the bat. Mabry over to get it. The Reds are finished in the 8th. They lead 2. A hit in error. They've stranded 4. Bottom of the 8th inning. Bottom of the order coming up. It's 7-0 Cardinals.
There's no doubt about it. Americans like to win. We strive to be first, always, and in everything. So it only makes sense that more of us want to drive the best. Toyota Camry, America's #1 selling car.
You change your oil every 3,000 miles, right? You don't, do you? You push it. Now you're so busy you try to squeeze another 1,000 miles out of your oil. Or more. Well, squeeze this. Mr. Do-it-yourself when you have the time. Reformulated Quaker State. Protection beyond 3,000 miles under any driving conditions. Anybody say insurance? It's been tested. And unlike that lazy uncle nobody really likes to talk about, it works. So go get some. Quaker State. Sensible technology. What more do you need to know?
Here we are in this simple, majestic setting. None of the usual interruptions. Nobody around to distract us from introducing AT&T One Rate Plus. Now, the key point, the thing to remember, is that every call you make from home with One Rate Plus, every call, day and night, 10 cents a minute.
Did you say 10 cents a minute, dude?
How do they find me?
AT&T One Rate Plus. 10 cents a minute, anytime. Call 1-800-41-RATE to enroll.
Fox Saturday Baseball Game of the Week, brought to you by Toyota. Every day belongs to you. Make it count. Toyota every day. By Priority Mail from the U.S. Postal Service. By AT&T. It's all within your reach. And by MasterCard, official card of Major League Baseball and fan of the great American pastime.
In the shadow of the arch in downtown St. Louis is Busch Stadium. 33rd year of baseball here at Busch Stadium after the Cardinals moved over from Sportsman's Park. 1966. And with all of the pennants and all of the postseason fever that's run rampant through this ballpark since then, for single games, you can't match the intensity and the feeling at this ballpark as McGwire hones in on the single-season home run record.
Yeah, looking from our perch up here, you're looking at 80% of the people in the sea of red that have been seeing red all year long. The red of McGwire instead of the red of the Cardinals.
The new pitcher is right-hander Danny Graves as he fires a strike into Luis Ordaz. So Hudek, if he did nothing else today, struck out McGwire. Heads up the middle, and Ordaz has his first hit of the day. And this crowd, if a rally happens, this crowd will get more and more excited, not because of the score, but because of the hope that those who have tickets today will get to see another McGwire at bat. What hurts the chances a little here is you've got Donovan Osborne, who's only 1 for 20 on the year, and he's up there to swing the bat.
I was thinking the same thing. He's probably up there to swing the bat because Tony La Russa does not want to give up an out, wanting McGwire to come back up. I was thinking why La Russa possibly would not want to pinch hit for him in this particular at-bat, but Donovan Osborne has pitched well enough to try for a complete game.
Danny Graves, the numbers for the former Cleveland Indian. Osborne, a double play ball. The fans won't like that. 4-6-3, 2 out, nobody on. A couple of people tried to boo. The neighbor said, hey, wait a minute. The guy you're about to boo is pitching a 3-hit shutout. There you go. That's behind the hitter as we watch here in the 8th inning, which way is Giant Stadium. They know now they're there getting ready for the debut of Fox NFL Sunday for 1998. The guys +1. Chris Collinsworth, football early, baseball, and the home run chase late. Here's Lampkin with 2 out, nobody on. Good to see him able to continue after being hit near the wrist by a pitch his last time up. Ball 1 low. Lampkin, a .242 hitter with 6 home runs on the year. 1 ball, 1 strike. A little too much upstairs for Lampkin. 92 on our radar gun on your Fox box to make it 1-2. Two out, nobody on, and that is just outside. 2-2. Wonder what'll run through his mind as he tries to force himself to go to sleep tonight. The green eyes, the red hair, and right now 60 home runs tucked under that belt.
Well, sometime between after the game and when Mark goes to sleep, I'll guarantee you one thought that will run through his mind. The person that he says is his biggest homer of all, and that's Matthew, 10-year-old son Matthew.
I would imagine he would be on the express flight to St. Louis.
Perhaps.
2 out, nobody on. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Lampkin strikes out. So barring a tremendous Reds rally, there will not be another McGwire at bat this afternoon. But stay tuned to see if the Cards hang on. Osborne shooting for the complete game.
55. What'll it be?
We'll take some rice and get some farf too.
Yeah.
Now you can choose which teams you see every Sunday with DirecTV and NFL Sunday Ticket. There's up to 13 regular season games a week.
Price check on farf.
Hey, Brett. Hey, John.
So stock up on all your favorites. NFL Sunday Ticket. It's not on cable. See it on DirecTV. So what are you looking at?
Attention shoppers. Now get $200 worth of programming when you get DirecTV.
One official Major League Baseball, $9. New ball, $9. New ball, $9. New ball, new ball, new ball, $9. New windshield, $100. 62, priceless. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. Official card of Major League Baseball and believer that records were made to be broken.
Introducing the Midas battery. Now for just $49.99 with rebate. Batteries. Brand new from Midas.
Hi, want to dance?
Absolutely. On October 2nd,
What are you doing?
see the world
Why does everybody have to dance the same way?
from a whole new perspective. Dance, rated PG.
We argue all the time as to who has the better lawn. They're all envious of my Scott lawn, definitely.
Scott's does it for all 3 of us.
Now, during the summer, my grass takes a beating.
A heavy sun, droughts.
What the grass needs is turf builder.
About September, I put on a turf builder.
It pumps it up, it rejuvenates it.
Gives it that extra punch for the roots.
You gotta feed it.
It's beautiful lawn. Look at that.
Look at thick.
Nice and green.
It's thick, it's flush.
Fall is the best time of year to put down Scott's turf builder.
You all know the record is 61. It's held by Roger Maris from New York. So from all of us here in Boston, here's to one less Yankee in the record books.
Costello premieres Tuesday on Fox.
Mark McGwire and the Cardinals back to the field for the top of the 9th inning. Here is our Red Lobster catch of the day. Somewhere in that mess, Denny Allen. He caught home run number 60 off the bat of McGwire. There he is. Denny Allen, congratulations. Home run number 60 in his hand. Back in the first inning off starter Dennys Reyes. Here's Sean Casey leading it off and taking a strike. Casey facing Donovan Osborne, who is in uncharted waters in 1998, working the 9th.
Tell you, Joe, another Allen comes to mind when I think of Mark McGwire, Jack Clark, some of the great home run hitters that the Cardinals have produced over the last 25 years. Until Jack Clark arrived in the 1980s, the only guy that I saw small this park up was Dick Allen back in 1970. He missed the last 6 weeks of the season. He had 34 home runs and drove in 106 that year. And at that time, Busch Stadium was as hard a park to hit a ball out in as any park in the big leagues. Not only has McGwire's home runs not been cheap, but think about it. Most of his home runs have been hit in Oakland, one of the really tough ballparks to hit home runs in. And Busch Stadium certainly a fair ballpark as far as homers are concerned.
Well, when people said, well, he's changing leagues. He's going to the league with the bigger parks. I can't believe it. Who cares? A 450-foot home run's leaving any park I've ever seen made.
That's right.
But he has been able to get a handle on these pitchers a lot quicker than many people thought. Here's a room service hop. High throw by Ordaz, and McGwire goes up and comes down on the bag. So he gives us a little defense here on a day in which everybody's talking about his bat. One away.
So for Mark McGwire, his latest put out, his first one that he put out today was in the bottom of the first.
I can't say what's running through my mind right now. I can't. But can you imagine if he got hurt on that? Oh. Just a little routine play.
Perish the thought.
Well, and it brings up the point about his season health-wise.
Yeah.
Everybody always said this guy is the guy to break the record if, and it was always a tremendous if he stays healthy. He is playing today in his 134th game, which is tied with Ray Langford for the most on the team. More than Jordan, more than any other infielder, more than Gant, more than any catcher. He has played in more games, as many as Langford, than any other Cardinal in 1998. And that is another huge reason why we're talking about the numbers like 60, 61, and 62. A Coors Light game break. Back to John Walls in the Fox Television Center.
Well, Joe, the Mets, of course, fighting for the wild card spot in the National League, looking for the big inning here in the 6th inning with Atlanta. Ray Ordonez, the single, but third base coach Cookie Rojas says, no, Brian McRae, hold up right here. Instead, they blow the big inning, and it's still 4-2 in the 7th.
Thank you, John. 2 out, nobody on, and this is Brett Boone. That's a swing and a foul backing out of play for strike 1. Breaking ball is low, and it's 1-1. Donovan Osborne will be awfully proud of the game he had in which Mark McGwire hit number 60. That's a squirter to third. Tatis cuts it off. Donovan Osborne, the complete game shutout, a 3-hitter. And the Cardinals win it 7-0 on a day in which Mark McGwire hits home run number 60. We came in talking about McGwire. One more note about Donovan Osborne. He now has 2 major league shutouts as he has his first complete game since July of 1996 on this historic day here in St. Louis. And McGwire able to smile, able to relax, a little hug for Donovan Osborne, and why not? All is well in his world right now thanks to this swing back in the 1st inning. .381 feet later, McGwire had home run number 60, and this place started to shake.
Number 6-0 on a 2-0 count.
And along with the assistance of Brian Bartow, the PR director for the Cardinals, who's done a tremendous job this year with everything he has been faced with, we can see Chip Carey lining up the interview down on the field outside of the Cardinal dugout, standing by with the hero of the day. Here's Chip.
Okay, Joe, thank you very much. Big Mac, congratulations, 60.
It's a nice number, isn't it? It is really unbelievable, and I've surpassed anything I've ever expected myself.
You said at the beginning of the season, when somebody gets to 50 by September 1st, then it's something to talk about. Now you've got 60, and it's only September 5th.
I don't know what to say. You know, all I can do is take care of myself, go up there and try to get some balls to drive. And it was a 2-0 pitch. It was a fastball, middle in, and hit a little bit down on it, got up in the air, and that's really the way it's, you know, you have to look at it. Myself, Sammy, Griffey, just comes down to getting balls to drive and hopefully get the square part of the bat on it.
And I know you're happy to get off the schneid against the Cincinnati team. They've had your number all year. What's that all about?
Well, you know what? There's always a team that has your number. It doesn't matter who you are in the game of baseball. It's the team that has your number, but then you have teams you like to hit against.
How about this Cardinal tradition playing here in St. Louis, the last team that Roger Maris played for, and now you're chasing him and these great fans here in St. Louis?
Well, it's one of the big reasons why I stayed, and tremendous fan support. I mean, I had tremendous fan support back in Oakland, but right here it's on a different stratosphere, and it's unbelievable. I thank him, and I don't know. I know he's up there watching, so I thank him too.
I know your son Matthew wasn't here today. How fast are you going to be jumping on the phone to get him out here to St. Louis?
Well, I think I got to hit one more. You know what? And you know, it's not easy to do it. I know people are probably thinking it's an easy thing to do, but it's not easy to do. And I know I'm facing these pitchers, and I'm seeing the best stuff possible. And I mean, look at my last 3 at bats. I was pitched very, very tough, and you know, I was aggressive, maybe a little too aggressive, but you know, that's just the way it goes. It's a game of baseball, and we got a lot more way to go.
I know a lot of fans, Mac, are happy to see you smiling. Are you enjoying this moment now? I know you were tired of dealing with the questions about what you've done individually. Big smile today, though.
Well, you know, you try to enjoy it as much as you can, and it's tough. I would like to just come to the ballpark and just prepare myself to play the game. It always seems that there's always somebody that wants to talk to you, or somebody wants an autograph or something like that. You know, I don't play this game for attention. I play it because I was given the ability, and that's all I want to do is go out there and play hard.
Now, you and Sammy Sosa have been chasing each other. I know Sammy's probably watching the game right now. You guys have been playing one-upsmanship.
I'll tell you what, he's having a magical year. Good luck to you, Sammy, tonight in Pittsburgh. And you know, I don't know if I'll be watching, but I'm sure I'll hear about something.
Well, Mark, on behalf of baseball fans everywhere, thank you so much for what you've done this year. Best luck the rest of the way.
All right, I appreciate it.
All right, Mark McGwire, the St. Louis Cardinals, hit number 60. Joe Buck, Tim McCarver, back to you.
All right, Chip, wonderful work. As the media surrounds Mark McGwire, and he goes back into the Cardinal dugout and eventually into the Cardinal clubhouse to rest. Jury's still out as to whether he will address the media in full, but there's no question about this. He has hit number 60, a record that at one point was held by Babe Ruth for 34 years. That's gone. He did it in 141 games. Tomorrow on Fox, he'll shoot for number 61. Back after this, back to the studio after the...
Life on land is dry. It's time to escape. Get wet. Eat with your hands. Dip, splash, crack, and taste seafood as fresh as the sea itself. At Red Lobster, because life on land is dry.
Gateway sent us back to college to
ask students how we could improve dorm life.
Me? I'm an English lit major, so a DVD player to watch movies would be nice.
I can sum it up for you in 2 words. TV.
So we built a Gateway computer with a TV, DVD, stereo, and an Intel Pentium 2 processor. With the YourWare program, it's just $69 a month. Call 1-800-GATEWAY and let's talk about your Gateway.
people worldwide.
Need some ideas for your Labor Day weekend? Let's drink! Spend it in the 70s.
What is it with you young people in Colombo?
That 70s show tomorrow after The Simpsons on Fox.
Welcome back to the Fox Network Center. I'm John Walls here. You have seen history in the making, of course, with Mark McGwire going deep once again for the St. Louis Cardinals, number 60 on his season. Let's look at the highlights of this game as Big Mac contemplating that league-leading 59 home run edge he's got. Bottom of the first, the fans don't have to wait long. Mark McGwire jacking a two-run bomb off of Dennys Reyes, and a curtain call, of course, for the man who has now hit 60 out of the ballpark. Tying Babe Ruth. Mark, of course, one more to go to catch Roger Maris. Bottom of the first now, still one out. Fernando Tatis with the single to left. Brian Jordan trying to score from second. The relay home. Jordan's in, and the Cardinals are on top 3-0. In the bottom of the second, Big Mac with his second hack. Reyes blows him away. The Cards are still up 4-zip. Bottom of the fifth inning now. McGwire again comes up empty, and he gets one more crack at it in the bottom of the seventh. 5-0 count. Runners on second and third, but John Hudak's got his number. Big Mac finishes 1 for 4. He strikes out 3 times in this game, but again does hit number 60. The Cardinals win 7-0. Also going on at Shea Stadium today, the Mets in the wild card hunt, but Andrew Jones of the Braves has other ideas. That is number 26 of his season. A shot off of Bobby Jones. It's 1-0 Atlanta in the fifth. Top of the fifth still. Kevin Millwood tries to tie it up, but look at Brian McRae. Say, hey, McRae. He makes the grab, and the Braves lead is 1-0 still. Bottom of the fifth, 2 outs. John Olerud helping the Mets cause his 19th. They lead 2-1, but in the top of the sixth, the Braves come right back. Bases juiced. Greg Holgren doubles to left. Check out the problems for Tony Phillips. First, he loses the ball, and then he loses his glove. 2 runs come across. Ryan Klesko, Javi Lopez both in. The Braves on top of this one right now at Shea. 4-2. The Mets batting in the bottom of the seventh inning. So the wild card race, as it looks right now, again, the Mets in progress. The Cubs playing in Pittsburgh later on today. The Giants playing Los Angeles. They are 3 in back of the Cubs in the wild card chase. And boy, you've got Big Mac coming your way, but how about the Pods and the Rockies? No score that game right now in the top of the third inning. The Padres trying to chase the Braves down as far as that home field advantage is concerned. Baseball tomorrow, we got it coming your way, a special edition. You got more Big Mac coming your way right here on Fox. 4 o'clock Eastern time as McGwire goes for his 61st home run. Around the corner, Joe Buck and Tim McCarver will rejoin us at Busch Stadium right after this.
Detective James Carter loved his job until he got a partner.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Now, the fastest hands in the East
Do it again.
team up with the biggest mouth in the West.
Which one of y'all kicked me?
Jackie Chan.
Bitch boy.
Chris Tucker.
Don't you ever touch a black man's radio, boy.
Rush Hour. Rated PG-13. Starts Friday, September 18th.
Didn't use AC Delco rapid-fire spark plugs? They'll give you quicker throttle response and smoother idle, no matter what you drive. AC Delco. If you're not asking for it, you're asking for it.
Well, well, look at you. You are one good-looking pizza.
Me? No, my friend. You are the good-looking pizza.
Please, don't be modest. Look at those toppings.
Why, my toppings? Forget about it. Look at your toppings. Pepperoni, green pepper. Wait, is that onion?
Yeah, I got a little onion.
You're killing me.
Well, look at you, Mr. Ham.
Oh.
Mr. Mushroom. Mister, could you possibly fit any more pepperoni on me?
No, stop. Get in the bag.
Get 2 Little Caesars pizzas featuring our authentic 1959 recipe and 3 toppings for just $10.99.
Pizza, pizza.
At National, we always thought of ourselves as the top car rental company, and now we're glad to see that our customers agree. You see, according to a J.D. Power & Associates study, National's just been ranked the highest car rental company in customer satisfaction in a tie. Thanks. We couldn't have done it without you.
Let's go.
It all started when we picked up Jake Plummer on the way to our road show in New York.
Be there. Terry and Jake were analyzing the quarterback matchup for the Lions-Packers opener, and things got a little competitive.
Bradshaw, I've seen better arms on a chair.
Pregame coverage begins at noon Eastern, live from New York tomorrow.
Here's the pitch. Swing it. There it goes. This is it. It is a home run. Wake up, Babe Ruth. There's company coming. It's Mark McGwire with number 60, and they're going berserk here at Busch Stadium. September 5th, 1998. Number 60 for McGwire. He couldn't have hit it higher. Home run number 60, equaling Babe Ruth. A historic moment here at Busch
Welcome
Stadium.
back to Busch Stadium as you get a chance to hear the call made in the booth to our left on KMOX Radio. You talked about it at the time. He always comes up with something, and I talked about it at the time. You always go back to the home run call made, probably on radio, because you're trying to describe so much more. And for my money, there's nobody better to do it than that guy over there.
Well, it's one home run call that I'm never going to forget because I was sitting next to the guy who called it on television.
That's right. Well, let's talk about the day real quick. You come in, you talk about Mark McGwire, and the amazing thing is everybody heaps all of these expectations on Mark McGwire day after day, game after game. At times, his attention and his patience wanes with the media. He's kind of gone up and down with that. I think he's been good for the most part. But day after day, he delivers, and in 141 games, this man has hit 60 home runs.
It is a remarkable accomplishment, and I think what you said earlier about Tony La Russa saying about Mark McGwire, that when he hit his 50th in New York, he relaxed and is really enjoying himself now, and I thought his comments to Chip Caray were very salient along those lines.
Yeah, well, the thing is that I hear from a lot of players that played with you, that played with Maris. They said, well, you wait till he gets down within 5 or 6. Wait till the intense media pressure. He's going to buckle under. It's worked the exact opposite way. He's had more fun as it's gone on.
He's within 1 right now of tying 2 to break.
Yeah, well, we'll have a game tomorrow here on Sunday afternoon from Busch Stadium, 4 o'clock Eastern. Right now, we go back down to the field, and standing by with Cardinals center fielder today, Brian Jordan, is Steve Lyons.
All right, Joe, thank you very much. I have Brian Jordan down here now. And, Brian, you've seen it from both sides. You hit before Mark McGwire. You hit behind him. I mean, it must have been unbelievable what you've seen so far this year.
It is. You know, I'm just like everybody else. I'm a fan. And, you know, I'm playing on the field. I'm watching it at firsthand. And, you know, it's great for baseball, and it's fun to watch.
You know, when he got to the 50 home runs, the first guy ever to hit 50 3 years in a row, did you see a different guy? Has he relaxed since that period of time?
No, I mean, he's the same guy from day one to now. I mean, this guy is a very focused player. He's a true professional, if you ask me, as a baseball player. And he has the same approach every day. And, you know, he's fun to watch because, I mean, with all this pressure, with all the media hype, you know, a chance to make history, he's cool, calm, and collected.
How about you guys, too? I mean, you see it day in and day out. He hit 58 last year. He's going to go past that. He's at 60 now. Actually, what he's doing is having the same year, but seeing a couple more good pitches and hitting them out of the park.
I mean, he's a consistent player. I mean, over the last, 350 home run seasons back to back to back. I mean, he's very consistent, and it's not nothing new. This guy goes out, he competes, and he's just getting better.
All right, Brian, great game for you today. Joe, let's send it back to you guys up in the booth.
All right, Steve, thank you. Brian, thank you. There's the score, a 7-0 Cardinal victory. We'll come back after a break and wrap up this day that we will never forget with a thought for tomorrow as we wait to broadcast the Sunday afternoon game tomorrow from Busch Stadium. McGwire is sitting on 60 going into tomorrow's game here in St. Louis.
Come with us on a magic voyage filled with enchantment, fantasy, and wondrous surprises. A magic voyage that begins with a Walt Disney World vacation, then sails to our own private island in the Bahamas. Disney Cruise Line. Discover uncharted magic.
Who's gonna break Maris's mark and hit 62 out of the park? The race is on. Keep your eyes on the ball. McGwire. Sosa. Griffin. They've got their eyes on the ball. Baseball history is in the making. Who's going to crush 62 before the season is through? It could happen at a ballpark near you. Don't miss a home run. Don't miss a minute. Keep pace with the race. Log on to MajorLeagueBaseball.com.
The season kicks off on Fox NFL Sunday as the Lions battle the Packers and the Cardinals take on the Cowboys. Pre-game coverage begins at noon Eastern, live from New York tomorrow.
A crystal clear day, a hot day in St. Louis, a 7-0 Cardinal victory. And Tim McCarver, you played this game for a long, long time. You've seen many more games than I have. The feeling here in St. Louis is one that I know I'll never forget. I want to get your feeling on what we're witnessing here in St. Louis.
Not only the feeling about the number of home runs that he's hit, but the distance. I mean, today was not a long home run for Mark McGwire when you compare him to the other home runs that he has hit this year. This ballpark opened on May 12, 1966, and I played here for about 4 years before I was traded after the '69 season. I saw one player, Orlando Cepeda, hit a ball in the upper deck during my almost 4 years in this new ballpark. Mark McGwire does it 5 times a day in batting practice now.
He is
remarkable.
An incredible story. And now that he's sitting on 60, it's even more a question of when, not if. And here we are. And again, I keep going back to this. After 141 games, here's a man sitting there with 60 home runs and seemingly enjoying it more and more as he goes, which to me is the key. The pressure is not getting to him at all.
Yeah, 60 home runs and 141 games. That's about 1 home run every 2 1/3 games. He's unstoppable right now unless he gets hurt.
We invite you to join us from Busch Stadium tomorrow, right after the debut of Fox NFL Sunday for 1998. We have football early. We have baseball late. Mark McGwire and the Cardinals against Cincinnati, 4 o'clock Eastern. We hope that you join us. So for Tim McCarver, I'm Joe Buck saying so long from St. Louis, where the final score is 60. All right, 7-0. The Cardinals win it. You've been watching Fox Sports coverage of Major League Baseball. Until tomorrow, good night. This is your home of the 1998 World Series.
This has been a presentation of Fox Sports, home of the '98 World Series and Super Bowl 33. Fox Sports, bringing you championship moments into the next millennium.
Hey, everybody. Time for a Chi-Chi's workout. But today, we're not using Chi-Chi's salsa. We're using new Chi-Chi's salsa. It's a more thick, more zesty, fresh-tasting Chi-Chi's. Ready? And pull up and down. Pull up and down. Don't forget to breathe. See how it sticks to the chip? Now add the drink. So don't just sit there. Eat something. New Chi-Chi's. The new taste really works those abs.
At the Bedroom Superstore, we've solved the year 2000 problem.
Make no down payment and pay no interest till the year 2000.
That's right, the year 2000.
This Labor Day weekend.
America's largest selection of beds and bedrooms at America's guaranteed lowest prices.
Over 50 unique bedroom styles, and everyone comes complete at one low price.
Plus, make no down payment and pay no interest till the year 2000.
That's right, till 2000. This Labor Day weekend.
Offer ends Monday, 9 p.m. only at the Bedroom Superstore.
Favorite sound, saxophone. Favorite date, sunset cruise along Lakeshore Drive. Ideal car, one of those off-road things you climb into. Not in this life. These are the new Buicks. Smooth driving, smooth riding. Cars that conquer not the jungle, but the road. The new Buicks, real power, real comfort, real style. Isn't it time for a real car?
The Blitz is on. It's time to go live with Tim, Pip, John, and Gilbert. The Packers Blitz, Sunday night at 10:35 on Fox 6.
Cheers is filmed before a live studio audience.
This never gets old.